Yeah. Layman apologists, cooking the Saints, cooking the coach. Ink still heavy when the page get thin. Truth don't stutter when the noise rush in. Same breath spoke the void to form. Still pressed kings in the footnotes warned. Cross wasn't drama, it was law enforced. Judgment met mercy, no appeal in court. Blood hit wood, debt got voided. Grave tried leverage, miscalculated. Stone rolled back, not for escape. Just proof death failed to seal the case. Crowns corrode, doctrines fray. Truth don't age, it outlasts decay. If it need add-ons, ethic seals. That stress cracks, not hidden, depth revealed. Fire don't change, gold's intent just shows what was counterfeit. Christ is king.
Truth don't flex, it calibrates. Planes fold when the pressure breaks.
Christ reigns now. Christ is king. Christ is king.
No revisions, no update. Same word.
All right, everybody. Hopefully, I am live. This is a little impromptu live. I'm not completely set up. My light's off to the side. You can see me a little bit. I wanted to go live actually because I wasn't planning on doing this, but something hilarious has kicked off. The Muslims are falling apart. Like 2025, sorry, I should say. We warned people that it was the worst year of Dawah so far. 2026, we're not even halfway through January and things are getting worse. So if you're watching, go grab your popcorn. I'm going to react to this live now because there's no way this survives past this live stream. Like, it's not my live stream. Jack Brancantella, Muslim metaphysician, is currently live. He's got Daniel Hakikachu on. Dean responds, and man, they are tearing chunks out of each other. So I'm going to go ahead and react to it. And I'm going to try and react to it now because I know what'll happen. This will be gone by the AM, or at least heavily edited. So let me go ahead and react. Let me get rid of his chat. I don't need to see his chat.
Apparently,
I don't know if he's here.
Yeah, I was going to say, apparently he's in the audience. He's not here. He's not here.
I don't know.
I'm looking at the bottom. Who is here, though?
This is where the
our good
up,
friend,
so.
Mr. Hakikachu, is here.
I'm behind by like a good
How's it going? Can you hear me?
40 minutes for the look of it, but this.
Oh, I thought I was upgraded to Mushrik.
Well, you are, but you can be both.
I'm a Mushrik, right?
You are, yeah.
Okay. Dean, hey, assalamu alaikum. How's it going?
Doing good. Yourself?
I said assalamu alaikum. Can you respond to that?
Yeah, wa alaikum salam.
So Dean's not responding
Assalamu
the
alaikum to you, Jay.
Islamic
Can you respond to that?
greeting because they have classified Daniel as a mushrik. Which
So
is
I hear that I'm on
unbeliever,
kufr
someone who's
and I'm a Mushrik according to Jake. You agree or not? I guess you said salam to me, Dean. So I'm still
I
a Muslim.
agree. You don't have to ask me. You have to ask Dean that question. That's not to me.
Yeah, am I?
Dean says
Yeah,
he
so-
agrees with the document that you're
Yeah, from what I've seen, there's been statements that would constitute kufr, yeah.
Like what?
But I don't make takfir.
So what statements have I
Oh,
made?
so he'll
that
just call you
constitute
kufr, but he'll not make takfir.
Okay, so from what I've seen, there's been clips saying that, sacrificing towards jinn is not something that's kufr. I've seen also statements such as wilayat takwiniya not being necessarily kufr. These are the sort of statements that I've seen.
Now, think about this.
Have you seen my
Sacrifices
material
towards
explaining
jinn
these
creation.
statements?
I've seen your clips trying to
these
explain
very
them.
same
Have you seen the
guys
actual
will
videos?
come
Like
on
if you're
Christian
going to say
YouTube
I'm upon
channels
kufr and tell that to an
and
audience of
and
thousands,
say
maybe
that
you should
whenever
actually see
Jesus
the
received
explanation for those
Paskinao,
statements, right?
that he's not received.
Yeah, I've seen
worship.
them, yeah, from the clips, yeah.
Are they clips or have you seen the videos, the actual
I've
video
seen the clips,
essays?
and then I went back to your video to see the rest of the clips.
Okay, so do you understand?
Now, first of all, props for Daniel actually coming up. Jake's also allowed him up. Now, Jake, from what I've seen so far, because I'm like 40 minutes behind here now, reacting, but Dean just kind of Jack kind of hands like Dean and just throws him under the bus, just allows him to reply to Daniel. Daniel eventually, brings Jack into the conversation, but this has been hilarious to watch so far. So I wanted to react before people before this is taken down, because there's no way this will stay up. Jack has subscriber only mode on his channel currently because everyone is in there laughing, and the Muslims are begging them. The Muslims in the comments are begging them to stop talking about this stuff publicly. This is the beginning of Dawa downfall already in 2026.
Understand that. Here's a question for you: can you slaughter to other than Allah without that being shirk?
Can you slaughter to other than Allah without that being shirk? I guess it's gonna have to depend.
On what?
So you're gonna have to give me like a specific example, then I can tell you whether it's analogous or not. But in terms of the jinn, I know definitely in terms if you're sacrificing towards an entity and your intention is for that entity, then yeah, that would be shirk.
So
from what I
remember
know.
this: jinn are
Like, can you
created in
slaughter
Islam. They're
for
made from smoke and
a
fire.
king or
Jinn aren't
for,
necessarily
you know, a
bad in
guest
Islam, by the way. You can get bad
to
jinn,
honor
but
the
you can
guest?
also get good jinn. But either way, what's
To
being
honor the
discussed here is,
guest,
can you
that's
sacrifice towards a jinn?
from what I know. I don't know if that would be shirk or kufr, but I know definitely that I don't think that would be permissible from what I know.
Now that would be equivalent to, like, imagine
can't
a Christian
slaughter
coming on
for
and saying we could
guests
offer a
to honor
sacrifice
your
in your
guests?
creation.
I don't know. I don't know if that's shirk or
You think
kufr.
you think it's impermissible to do
It's
that?
possibly impermissible. Yeah, that's from what I know.
Possibly. Oh, okay. It's possibly impermissible, so it's downgrade. So you
So
can't slaughter
so
for
I
other
haven't
than
read.
Allah.
So it's like I said
So
before.
So Dean admits multiple times here, Dean doesn't even know his own sources. Dean doesn't, like, he said, like, I know I've jumped into this midway through, but Dean, this guy here in the right hand side, he has had a conversation with Jack already where they're discussing different things, why Dean doesn't respond to certain things, and Dean basically says, look, because I don't really know the sources, so therefore I'm not going to speak on them. But this is the same guy who doesn't know his own sources but thinks he is knowledgeable enough to jump in streams with Christians to debate them, and then butchers their understanding of it.
I haven't read. Yeah, I haven't read
you
in
cited
detail
the
with regards
example,
to.
like slaughtering for a jinn is shirk, or that's kufr. That's what you said, right? So, but you can slaughter for a king, or you can slaughter for guests, and now you've downgraded it to it being possibly impermissible. Do you know what the Hanbali school says, or the An-Nawawi says, or Rafi'i says
He
about these
doesn't know.
practices? Like, when is slaughtering to other than Allah actually shirk? Wait, where'd you go, Jake? Come on. You know, I want your input too.
So say what you want about Daniel, and there's a lot of things you can say. The fact that Daniel has came up to someone who, on his stream, someone who is not friendly towards Daniel, someone that does not recognize Daniel as a Muslim, and he's came up onto his own platform, and he's challenging both of these guys, and he's telling Jack, the Muslim metaphysician, not to run.
Dude, don't go.
Yeah.
So please.
Yeah. So from what?
Taking a
Yeah.
drink or something. I was trying to be
Yeah.
polite.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So I'll tell you very clearly. From what I know, in terms of sacrificing to jinn does seem like it's kufr, right? I haven't read in detail regarding to this, but slaughtering in the name of other than Allah, that's something that I know definitely it's going to be shirk. Now, when you talk about honoring someone, whatever, like these things, I haven't read in detail about, but slaughtering and then slaughtering in the name of Allah with regards to anything else is shirk.
Okay, so you know that you're going against the Hanbali school on this, the Shafi'i school,
No,
like you're
because you
going
haven't
against
read.
the traditional Sunni legal schools on this. You're even actually going against
Okay.
Sayyidina
Okay.
bin Baz on this.
So just to clarify,
Going
clarify,
against
Daniel.
Sayyidina bin Baz, like you
Yeah.
want me to
So
read
just so
the
just to
quote?
clarify, Daniel, if someone's slaughtering in the name of Allah for a guest or for a king, I don't have a problem with that. But
You said
I
it
don't know.
was- you said
I
it
don't know.
was
I don't know if
permissible.
scholars are gonna say. I don't know if some scholars are gonna say it's other than mubah, right? That's something I haven't looked into. But I definitely don't know that's shirk. So I definitely do know that's not shirk. Sorry.
So this is
But
like
with regards to
second
slaughtering in the
time
name
Dean
of
said, I
other than
haven't looked
Allah,
into
then
it, I
yes,
haven't read.
I would
So
say
why are
that's
you
shirk. And if
talking
it's like
about
in the name of
like,
jinn,
you do
then
the same
obviously,
on
yeah,
Christian Live?
I would
Don't
agree that's
come in.
shirk. But what I've seen in detail with regards to you, and something I can obviously never agree with is, besides this, is being able to control all of the atoms in the universe right?
Wait, I want to stay on the slaughter for a second. Like, don't jump around because you first are
Yeah,
saying
as
that
long as we can
slaughtering
get
to
as long as
Allah.
we can get to
Well,
Wilayat
let me
Tekwinia,
speak.
that's
I
fine.
let you
Yeah,
speak. So can I
yeah.
speak now? Is that
As
allowed?
long as we discuss Wilayat Tekwinia after, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I'd
ahead.
love to talk about that. would love to talk to you and Jake. I mean, Jake is the Aqidah expert here who's giving
Yeah, that's
people
fine.
like
You can
Ahmed
speak to me.
Deedat an
That's
F.
yeah,
So
yeah, Daniel.
let's
That's
talk
fine. You can
about
speak
his
to me. That's fine.
Aqidah.
Yeah, Daniel, just make the
So
point. It's fine.
you don't need to interrupt me, bro. I can speak for myself. You don't need to cut me off.
Yeah, Daniel, just stop being sensitive and just speak. Go ahead.
Well, you're just accusing me of kufr, so I just want to speak and explain myself, and you keep cutting
We're
me off
allowing,
like I'm a
dude. Come on,
child.
man.
Now, what you see here is what happens anytime any one of these three guys and the other Dawa clowns come up to Christian lives. They do the same thing. It's the Muslim shuffle. They jump around. They avoid the direct questions. They do you know this? Do you know that? It's all red herrings because they don't actually want to discuss anything. They just want to basically call each other kufr. It's just silly. But like this is the state of Dawa already in 2026.
Stop the exposition. Let's just get to the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, the point was that first you said that slaughtering to other than Allah is shirk and kufr.
Yeah.
Then I said slaughtering, okay, to kings, to guests, and you said it's haram. Now you say it's possibly mubah. Like your ruling keeps
It
changing.
depends what
like
you mean
within
by
a
it. So,
minute.
I'll make it very clear to you. Like I said just now, slaughtering in the name of the king is shirk. I didn't know what you meant exactly by that. But if you mean by slaughtering in the name of Allah
No,
for
the honor. I
the
said
king,
very
then it's
clearly
fine.
to honor the king,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
honor the king, to honor the guest. I said
So
very clearly.
are you slaughtering in the name of Allah?
You're slaughtering for them.
Are you slaughtering in the name of the king?
You're slaughtering to honor them.
So think about this. This is what they're discussing. Can you slaughter and sacrifice to an animal? An animal to anything other than Allah? They say no. That would be shirk. That would be wrong. But yet they will happily come on Christian streams and they will completely drop this standard and they will say things like, "Oh, Jesus didn't receive worship. No, people just bowed to Jesus. That was just giving him honor." But in the very same breath, they're going to deny that you can do that to a mere creation without insulting Allah. Now, Daniel takes the opposite position, and this is why a group of like 30 odd Muslims signed like a petition basically to distance themselves from Daniel. Now, Jack here in the top left, he released a statement today. I just posted it next. He's distancing himself from this guy here, Dean Responds, and a couple of other guys, because he finds them not to be Muslims. Like these guys are tearing each other apart already.
Right. So you're
So
slaughtering.
So if you slaughter two jinn, but in the name of Allah, is that shirk?
From what I know, that one wouldn't be shirk because you're slaughtering in the name of Allah.
Okay, so how do you know what I was referring to then?
Because in the context of your videos, it seemed like you were saying.
Did I
slaughtering in
say
the
anything about
name of
slaughtering
Allah.
in the name of the jinn in the videos?
That's what it seemed like.
Oh, it seemed like so. It
Yeah.
seemed like that. That's what popped into your head, and then you declared that Daniel.
Yes. So if you didn't mean that, then yes, I'll take back my takfir.
Okay, so you didn't see me or hear
Or not
me
takfir.
say-
Sorry, I
you
never
didn't-
made takfir of you. I said it
Oh,
was
yeah,
kufr.
he
Sorry.
doesn't take fear, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't hear that. It seemed that, and it's like that to you, and then you said I'm upon kufr. You just assumed. Is that how we do like judgments on?
Yeah.
who is
So
upon
so
kufr
when
and-
so
or
we
not?
judge things based. Yeah. So we
Apparently
judge things
is
based
how
on the
they do
apparent. So on
judgment.
the apparent of the clip,
Oh, really?
I didn't see the qualification that it's in the name of Allah for another entity. I didn't see that.
So then, how do you determine that it was kufr if you didn't see one way or the other?
No, I did. I saw. It seemed
Where-
like it seemed like you're defending slaughtering in the name of the jinn. We can bring up the clip. So
How can it
yeah.
seem like that?
On the apparent, it seemed like that. Yeah.
So you can determine if someone is upon kufr by what it just seems to you without actually
Yeah, on the
explicitly
apparent.
hearing that.
Yeah, so we judge by the apparent. So if it seems like someone's prostrating to an idol as though they're worshiping it, I'm gonna judge it as though until I see otherwise. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, prostrating. Actually, that's a good point there. So is prostrating to someone, is that shirk?
Yeah. So you see how you didn't want me to go to Wilayat Taqwiniya, but now you're shifting. So we're gonna go
No,
to Wilayat
I'll get
Taqwiniya.
to it, but
Look who we have, folks. Oh, he's muted. He's having issues, folks. Right. Well, we'll continue reacting to this until I can hear from Gabe.
I want to understand your standards. Like,
If
you're
you're
putting a
gonna,
principle.
yeah,
So
if
if
you're
you're
gonna,
prostrating to someone, is that
no,
shirk?
we're gonna stick, as you said, we're gonna stick on the Jin sacrifice. Then we can go to Wilayat Tekwinia, right?
Yeah, we're on the Jin sacrifice because
Okay,
you're talking about.
so on the video, like I said before, on the video, it seemed like you didn't add that
Okay.
qualification that they're sacrificed in the name of Allah for that entity, which is the Jinn.
All right.
So
There we
how
go.
did you
I can hear him now.
determine that I'm upon it?
Sweet. Yeah.
Let me just turn you
Oh
up
man.
a little bit. Gabe, can you turn your volume up just a smidge?
No, actually I cannot. It's as high as I can get it right now.
Hmm.
But I can do this if that helps out a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Have you
All
paid?
right. Cool beans.
I dropped you a message very last minute. We were meant to have a call today, but I had a nap and completely slept way longer than I meant to. But I dropped you a message last minute. Have you seen this? Like, do you know what's going on?
No, I have no clue what's going on.
Oh, bro.
Have spent way too much time working on all my projects this year. I open up X for maybe 5 minutes at a time, make a comment, like a post or two, and then I close it and just start working on my projects. Otherwise, I've just been far too busy to pay any attention to the Muslims tearing each other apart.
Oh, dude, I wasn't even planning going live. Like, this is incredibly impromptu. I just hopped on because this is, and like this is not just me saying that. Like, this gets spicy. Like, I've went back a bit, so like I'm like 40 odd minutes behind, probably longer now with stopping.
All
But
right.
so obviously there, you saw the whole thing, like where like a group of 30 like Dayi all sort of like takfired Daniel and said, you know, he's a kufr, he's an apostate. So you've got all of that. Then you've got Jack, who not so long ago did a video calling out multiple people in his own camp, like people like Sheikh Uthman and everything else. He called them out for repeating the lie that Rebecca was 3. So you've got that. Then today, Jack just put out a statement saying that he is distancing himself from Dean Responds, which for the audience is the dude in the top right corner. And I'll maybe pull up the tweet here too, because I forget who else he said he was distancing himself for, because he talked about knowing their private sins and how they're not really living, you know, the true Islamic life. So people that thought 2025 was bad for Islam and Dawah have seen nothing yet, dude. We're not even like through January and these guys are pulling each other apart. So Jack started his live, and the reason why I'm reacting to this is there's no way this live stays up, at least without not being heavily edited. Like, he has got subscriber only mode on, and there is Muslims in the comments begging them all to stop because so many Christian channels are reacting to this right now.
That's funny. I'll probably
so Jack,
download the whole thing before I can get it offline.
Yeah, you should. You should. A lot of people have. I know I'm probably going to
once the stream's done.
Yeah.
Which, you know, as long as they take a little bit before they turn it.
Oh yeah,
shut
they're
it down,
not going to get it instantly. Like, if Jake wanted, Jake could have shut the stream down already, but he hasn't. But he said, I publicly disassociate myself from Libiano, who is Orthodox Muslim.
Okay.
In response, it hurts me to say this, but they are not principled duat. They are more concerned with the views, fame, popularity, and money than they are with pleasing Allah. They fear man and want to please man more than they fear Allah and want to please him. Now listen to this. I make this statement based upon their public and private deeds known to me. May Allah rectify our affairs and guide us all. So here is yet another Muslim coming out and saying, I know how these like popular Dawah guys are living behind the scenes, and it doesn't line up with how they're meant to live.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to tell anyone, but anyone watching this and going, wow, I'm shocked. I don't know how to tell you this, but it's not really that shocking. Especially when you look at like even if they did want to live like the Muslim life, they could still in all reality, still do a lot of the things that they would probably want to do.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking things like, oh, this is going to sound so disgusting, but hiring a prostitute.
hmm
All you have to do is get her to get onto a WhatsApp call with an imam and then basically say that you're having a muda marriage and then just do it. That's all it is.
And like Muhammad Hijab famously told everyone on the internet, all you have to do is pay her a McDonald's as the bridal price, and that's enough.
Yep. Yeah, so her dignity is McDonald's. That's the cost. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which again goes to show you how much those women value themselves as well. So like it
Mhm.
doesn't free the Muslima from it, but a lot of these Muslima women have also came out, and spoken against a lot of the shady dealings of people like Ali Dawa, Muhammad Hijab. Anywhere you look, there is some form of controversy surrounding these people. Like
Yeah.
Hijab's father got exposed, for like running like a fraudulent like university degree setup and things. Like it's
That stuff's gonna keep coming. Like, and that's not even for just like Islam stuff. That's just words. Sorry, that's just gonna keep coming out with.
Yep.
I believe the Eastern world or the more, Arabized world too. It's not me trying to get political, but it's one of the things that a lot of the Eastern world will do to try to get into the Western world is they'll create schools and then they'll give out degrees and then they'll send their people over into the Western countries because if you have a high standing degree, you're more likely to get into countries like the United States, Britain. I don't know about Ireland, but
no.
that that happens. But here in the United States, basically, you can,
Yeah.
if you have a degree, you can not get ahead of everyone else on the legal immigrant side.
hmm
Like the United States will even sometimes seek out people with high degrees to try to bring them into the country because we want smart people here. And
That's how it should be in Ireland, but no, Ireland's border policy is just come on ahead on in, sure, why don't you? So
well, and it would be good for the United States if there weren't these schools making giving out fake degrees and doing all that stuff. And if we're not vetting those schools and making sure that, like, we vet the schools in the United States more than we vet the schools outside of it, and then we just accept their degrees. So
mhm.
whatever. I don't want to get political on this channel,
Yeah.
but
Oh, don't worry. But anyway,
yeah.
what do you see some of this? I'm going to play some more because this gets spicier. But you were going to say something there, no?
Yeah, I was even gonna say in regards to like hold on, does this make me louder or is this the exact same for you?
Sounds the same.
Perfect. All right. But no, when I was working on one of my projects, and I'll share some of that with you later.
hmm
I was working on a project and I was listening to the new David Wood video that he was doing his live stream where basically someone said that she was the young girl that David, that whole circumstance.
It
And
was they reversed the audio. It's fake.
yep, went through that and it left me the whole time I was sitting there like, I even sent in a super chat saying this. I'm like, man, it already speaks lowly of them enough to fake an interview, but like, how much lower does that make the lady who was like, I'm going to go ahead and do that? And then all the men and everyone around her that just go, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then what about all the audience that clearly knows it's fake and they're just now going to bolster this and spread it around and be like, aha, you see?
Well, you see, Malik's own audience, like Malik had to interrupt his own live
I saw that on the stream.
because Malik's own audience were calling out the fact that this is Cora. This sounds like Cora. Then he had to do the whole fake. Oh no, Cora's in the chat. Cora, come up. Cora, come up. But of course, Cora never came up. Why? Because Cora was more than likely the Muslima that was on the call. So, but anyway, let's watch some more of this because this gets spicy, and I want to see what happened near the end because it looks like they're still live. To be honest.
All right, let's see.
Because you didn't add that qualification. If you're saying I'm
Why
slaughtering
do I
for
have
the
to
jinn,
add the
if you're
qualification?
wait 1 second. If you're saying I'm slaughtering for the jinn and I'm defending this practice, and other people are saying no, it's kufr, and you're saying no, it's just for the jinn, it doesn't matter, you can do it for it, then I'm gonna assume that what you meant by it was something that's kufri. Did you add that qualification in your video that you're slaughtering in the name of Allah for that entity, which is the jinn?
Why is that qualification need to be made?
It's needed,
when
'cause
the
otherwise-
Hanbali school, when
my
Bin
days.
Baz is saying that it's not shirk, when it's not kufr, we can read the fatwa.
Yeah,
We should
yeah,
read
we
the
need to,
fatwa.
yeah,
Let's
let's
bring
get
it
the-
up.
So think about this. Daniel is saying that it is authentic Sunni Islam that you can sacrifice to something or someone other than Allah without it being shirk. Yet, they will pop up in Christian live streams and say that because Jesus received proskuneo, he was only receiving, adoration. He was only receiving honor.
Mhm.
But yet, both Jake and Dean are on here saying that Daniel is an apostate because he believes that you could bow down to a king, you could, sacrifice an animal for, a friend's wedding celebration or whatever.
Yeah.
These guys do not have a clue what they're talking about. They have learned talking points that they think work against Christianity. And then Dean, who has said multiple times already, I have not read these sources, meaning his own sources. He hasn't read them. But yet he thinks he's educated enough to come up and debate with Christians about what they believe.
Mm-hmm. Let alone what he and his own group believes.
Why do you think whenever you see a lot of these Christian lives and stuff, why do you think Muslims are always on the offensive? Why do they always want the Christian to answer questions? Because they can't actually answer anything about their own religion. They fall back on, Allah knows best.
Yeah, and that's part of one of the, the men of Al-Zit, right? That is one of the beauties of the men of Al-Zit, is it literally, so have you sat down and actually read the hadith for it?
No, was that a pun, Gabe? Have I sat down?
The pun was like the sitting down part, yeah.
I am Abdullah in that situation. I sat in my little line behind the sand and I made sure my butt was firmly in the ground. Yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of reading on the the whole Men of Al-Zit hadith, because obviously working on the alzit.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it has shown me how effective of a polemical weapon it is, especially when using it. Because guess what? When you do use it on a Muslim, they go, oh, that's not what that means. What this means is this. And then you go, okay, well then why you can't say, so it's idiomatic, it's symbolic of something else, it's not saying what it just says. Yeah, no, it's idiomatic. Okay. So why is it that when I say that there are symbolic things and idiomatic things in the scriptures, you deny those and call that, corruption? Right?
Well, it's obvious, Gabe. Like, come on now. I can't award you the same charity I award the Quran. Come on now.
Yeah. And that's so, like, I was talking to my friend Isaiah about this. I was saying to him, I'm like, I wouldn't use it as an argument against Islam. I wouldn't go straight into the Muhammad got railed by the men of Al-Zit, right? I'm not going to open that up and be like, I couldn't be in a religion where that happened to my prophet or my Lord or the leader of my religion, right? No, that's not the reason. The reason I wouldn't use it is because, I do think that there is actual idiomatic interpretations. And I think those interpretations are a little bit more solid than the plain reading of the English translation. But if Muslim isn't going to allow you to, for example, like if you go through the Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Elohim, Adonai, Echad. Echad is one, right? But Echad doesn't mean, it's not the same as the number one.
No, because if Moses wanted to mark out a singularity, he could have used the Hebrew word Yachid.
Yep. So when having that discussion, so if you're going down that and they're like, well, yeah, you see the Shema, it says one. That means one. If I go, well, no, that's you just don't understand language. They might be like, oh, well, no, I do. It says one right there. It means one. And then they open up Strong's and they go, see, it says one. And they go, one. And I go, okay. Well, I'm trying to remember the word that means ridden or mounted or rode
I think
in the Arabic.
is it not Yarakabun?
It might be. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Mhm.
I might be. I could be like, okay, well, it meant that Muhammad was mounted by the men of Al-Zit, and that's kind of
From normal Arabic usage. And again, I'm not an Arabic speaker. I don't claim to be Arabic. And again, lots of Muslims. I've did a video on this as well. Lots of Muslims love trying to use that too, because if you're not an Arabic speaker, they're like, "Oh, well, you can't speak on it at all." Okay, great. Are you a Hebrew or Greek speaker? Okay, you can't speak in my scriptures. If we're gonna be fair. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that word in normal Arabic usage is talking about whenever you mount an animal to physically ride it, or it is used also colloquially how we tend to, and when I say we, I don't mean me and you, but I mean like
I don't.
the modern usage of the word. If someone said to me, I was riding last night, and I'll try and keep it polite, they normally mean they were having sexual intercourse, right?
Yeah.
So even if you are trying to be, and again, you've said it yourself, you've looked into it and you think, there's possible other interpretations. Muslims love to say that no, that this was the jinn, but even then this still falls back in them, because even if you take that this was not men, you would have to say that the jinn mounted the prophet and did the very same thing to him.
Yeah, but that goes down back to the Arabic. I mean, so trying to remember, there is a tafsir that uses the same phrase. That means like Muhammad had them gather around him.
Surrounded and
So yeah, so that's where that usually would mean, and that would be where you get the idiomatic use of it, right? And so that's why I don't usually go straight to that English or more colloquial interpretation. That said, if a Muslim's not willing to offer that grace to me in regards to the Hebrew or the Greek, or even just any sort of idiomatic use of the language or any symbolic use of the language, then it doesn't really. I will gladly use the men of Al-Zit against them, just to show the double standard is there. If that's because they might then go, well, hold on, that's not how that's interpreted. Okay, well then let me do the same exact thing. And then
I think that's fair, but also I would take a less gracious stance than you, not because I'm trying to be ungracious, but I just think there's too much contextual evidence, even within the hadith, that it was a physical mounting, because Abdullah is told to stay behind the line. He immediately sits his butt down on the ground when the Al-Zit try to come near him. So as David Wood rightly said, he is protecting the golden goose. He knows what
bubble
they're
pop
looking
or whatever he used.
Huh?
He used something like his bubble pop or whatever language he used. I don't know. It was funny.
And then whenever you look at it though, but from the other point of view too though, but like it talks about how Muhammad was overwhelmed. He was, and they're trying to say, that this is from reciting the Quran and stuff. No, it talks about how much physical pain he was in. Reciting the Quran, it certainly causes pain. It's a painful read. But unless you're willing to say that your prophet was physically, overwhelmed by reading the Quran, sure, yeah, I agree. It's a bad read.
He wouldn't have been reading the Quran. He couldn't read, but reciting it, so making a whole bunch of stuff up on the fly,
Yeah. But anyway, let's jump back into this or we'll never get through it.
Okay, let's bring up Bin Baz's fatwa.
Actually, what's more important is getting the clip of what you're saying, so we can see if you added that qualification of that you're actually.
Now, once again, this is why Jack said he disassociates from Dean. This is what Dean does every time he goes on a live stream. I just want to get that clip. Just
slaughtering in the name of Allah.
No, you're missing.
So let's bring that up.
You're saying that that's something that's necessary, and I'm pointing to what the scholars have said. Okay, so Al-Rafi.
Wait, so Daniel, Daniel,
Can I
when
read the quote?
people, when you, if you believe people are misunderstanding you, and this is what you really intended, then you have to add these qualifications, right?
No, the qualifications have been made. You don't even know anything about this topic. That's why you keep downgrading from shirk to haram to possibly allowed to mubah. You don't know.
Now, Daniel's right here.
Mhm.
Dean has retracted his statement multiple times, followed by, "Well, yeah, I don't know the sources." So why are you going? And again, I don't really care whether they go with Daniel or not. You lot feel free to take lumps out of each other for all I care. But if you're going to go at something like Daniel, who Daniel does know his position very well, I'll give him his credit. He doesn't know biblical topics very well because it's been proven time and time again. Daniel doesn't actually research any of his own stuff. He's admitted on live streams he has a team that presents research to him, and then he talks about it. So, in regards to his own religion, I would say Daniel probably knows a lot more than Dean, which is evident. But yeah,
And Daniel, just from my understanding of Daniel, he seems like one of the more authentic guys in the whole Dawa scene.
Mhm.
Right? Like you look at these other guys, and they all, just from me watching or listening to them, a lot of them don't seem like they're that type of guy that you're thinking of, right? Like when you think of a Christian apologist, you're thinking of someone who is, done up, they got their tie on, they're ready to present their theological treatise on the nature of the Trinity or something like that.
me.
Yeah, not but these guys here, they are sitting here with like neon lights. They do very orchestrated videos where they're going out and they are hanging out with an interesting crowd too. I mean, think of it. What Sneeko, for example, right?
Mm,
A lot of these guys are hanging out with Sneeko. They like Sneeko. They want to hang out with him. I have watched a handful of Sneeko videos. And I can tell you right now, in all of the Sneeko videos I've ever watched, even after he had become a Muslim, he's not behaving like a Muslim. He has women in bikinis. He has music playing. He
mhm.
maybe even sings in some of them. It's sitting there like, that's music's depending on which branch of Islam you're part of, but women in bikinis walking around, going out into the city, hanging out with other controversial characters who have a track record of other things, doing all that. It's like, okay, a lot of them hang out with, well, I can't recall if any of them hang out with Andrew Tate, but he does tend to fall into that.
Yeah, Tate has been quietly disassociated from.
Okay. So
Yeah.
can't really say they hang out with Andrew Tate with his whole trafficking case going on right now.
Well, there's that, but also it's because Tate. If people, I don't really watch Andrew Tate, but from what I've been told, is Tate has not made mention of Islam or Allah in numerous months. So that's apparently poo-pooed in the old Dawa movement. So they're like, yeah, we don't talk about Tate. Now, not to cut you off, but just because you brought up Sneeko, there was a clip that went around today of Sneeko. Do you know who Bradley Martin is?
I do not know.
Bradley Martin's like he's 260 pounds, which he loves reminding people. He's a big YouTuber, like gym owner, and he has a friend, a girl called Sarah Safari, I believe her name is, or Sarah Safari,
Okay.
one of those. She's also a pretty big streamer. She has been silently dating. And I say silently because they haven't announced anything, but she's been silently dating Sneeko for a while.
Okay.
There was a clip released today where Sneeko didn't realize that the live was still on, and he slapped Sarah Safari across the face because she was being disrespectful. Now, he disobeyed his prophet here because Muhammad says, "Don't beat a woman on the face," right?
Mhm.
So what Sneeko should have done is he should have hit her on the body according to his prophet, because that way it can't be seen.
Yeah.
So even then, Sneeko's a bad Muslim. But this will all come out now in a couple of days. Oh, this was a skit. This didn't really happen. Blah blah blah. He
Oh,
smacked
yeah.
her across the face.
Well, I mean, I don't know Sneeko personally, but I never really, and this isn't to like speak lowly of him, but it's gonna speak lowly of him. I never really look at the guy and think, wow, he's got this outstanding character, right? He's
Mhm.
a outstanding young man here trying to do what's best for society and for his family and country, and you know, no, I don't see that in him. I never have. And
Sneeko.
it kind of goes the same boat with guys like, since I mentioned him earlier, Tate, or even a lot of other guys. I just don't really look at them and go, yeah, that's like a really upstanding guy that's gonna treat a woman right, and he's gonna have a family, and like, no, when you run around with like 20 different women in a month, and you got videos of you and all of them in bikinis and in hot tubs, and you're all immodest, and you're
Mhm.
running around kissing all these different women. I could go down the list, right?
Yeah.
The measures of, you could say, adultery that are being applied there, I would say much of it would definitely fall into like the adultery line,
Mhm.
and
Well, think about it. Malik's already exposed Sneeko for being, one of the guys. And again, audience apologies for listening. It's their
mm,
words, not ours. Sneeko's been one of these guys that have been running trains on women while the Warner, watches on.
I like how that was a good segue with
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Warner Watcher.
Yep.
But it's just, I look at it and I go, like, part of me, like, for as far as that explicit example, part of me would look at it and be like, she could have watched some of his streams if she was interested in him, and saw or videos, and saw how he was acting around women, and kind of deduced that he wasn't a good guy to be around.
See, the thing is, too, and
But
I know this will tick a lot of people off, but it's just the truth. Sarah Safari, or Sarah, whatever her name is, she, from what I can tell about her, she does a lot of stuff for clicks as well. Now,
Hmm.
did she deserve a slap across the face? No, I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is I don't think Sarah cared too much about what Sneeko's reputation was. She's more interested in what will bring her career further notoriety. So
okay, well, I don't know who she is, so I can't speak on that.
I know very
But
little about her. I just know like I see enough YouTube clips and stuff to know of them, but like
okay,
beyond that, I don't really know too much about her. But I saw it today because there's a little dude. I think he's called Neon. I think that's his
okay,
name. Neon or whatever his name is. He's a small nerdy little kid. He's apparently like a Muslim as well. But same thing as Sneeko. He's not like orthodox in any sense. Like listens to music. He's
mhm,
constantly streaming with OF girls. Like
yeah,
these dudes just do not give a toss about their own religion. They just don't.
yeah, and to give a little bit of like an analogy from the Christian perspective, that would be like if you or I went out to, and just did a live stream one day in the club, right? Let alone going to the club, big no no. But going and then doing a live stream in the club, even bigger no no. And it's like Sneeko does these videos, edits these videos. Well, he probably doesn't edit his own videos, but he does these videos. And is literally doing that. And then again, to circle it back to the topic, these are the guys that, not Daniel, but these are the guys who are usually, the other Dalwa guys are usually the ones who are hanging out with guys like Sneeko,
Yep.
who is, and even Malik. We could probably throw Malik in there. I don't know really anything about him outside of the few new live streams and videos I've seen from him.
He's
But
just interested in building his name.
yeah, and I don't really care in looking into him too much. But I would assume, given the clips that we have seen and even watched here on the stream, well, not this stream, but on previous streams,
Hmm.
that he's in the same exact boat as Sneeko. So again, just an assumption. Can't say anything for sure.
Hmm.
I mean, they're all hanging out with each other in this same crowd doing that. I don't really think highly of them.
No.
Daniel Hikikachu, on the other hand, I look at him and I think, okay, this is a guy who is actually trying to live out his faith. He might argue against Christianity fairly fairly disingenuously. There we go, if I could speak at times. But for the most part, I tend to think he's a genuine guy in his actual beliefs and convictions.
Yeah, like David Wood and IP and stuff have all said similar. Like,
Okay.
you look at Daniel and you do not know. We could be majorly shocked and majorly surprised at
Yeah.
this, but Daniel does not give off the vibe that he is out. And again, their words, out in clubs, running trains, and women drinking, smoking weed. Daniel doesn't come across that way. But what I will say, and what should concern people, and I need to be careful because we're also on censorship,
Mm-hmm.
but Daniel has made it very clear that, 6 would not
Wow.
be the minimum age. Like, it could go a lot lower. So, as much of credit you could give Daniel for being genuine in some areas, he is also incredibly perverted in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But
Well, but that's also his religion that he's defending too. So that's why I like pulling that out of them. It helps show the Westerners and even many of them that, wow, what is wrong with this religion? That the example of our faith, the example and exemplar of our, race of people being human beings.
Oh,
would do
remember,
such a thing.
Muhammad's
Yeah.
the example for all mankind.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was getting at. Is
there are tafsirs out there that basically would, and I'm using our language here, that they would say takfir, but essentially what that would mean is, for us to anathematize one another, it would be to say that you're an apostate, an unbeliever.
Mhm.
But if you ask a Muslim something along the lines of, like, is there anything that your prophet has done that you wouldn't do? They technically should not be saying no to that question. They should say, yes, I would do everything the prophet did. Because otherwise, to say that they wouldn't would be to say that the prophet did something that was wrong. So, whenever pushed on it, that's primarily why you got the confession from Muslim cowgirl. That
Okay.
th-
Yeah.
they're not embarrassed about what Muhammad did to Aisha. So basically, admitting that he would do the same thing.
And yeah, so that tends to be part of my approach, and those are just so. Yes, while I would say that that is a extremely it's an extremely perverted thing to do or to like defend. He's defending it because again, his convictions actually seem like they are true in Islam.
Yep.
Versus these other guys who, both on screen and behind the scenes, live opposite lives of Islam. It's like, for example, to help maybe any Muslims watching this, a woman converts to Islam. She's supposed to wear her hijab or burqa, right? If she doesn't, she gets yelled at and told that she needs to wear a hijab or a burqa.
Well, she'll be lucky if she gets yelled at.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it gets far worse than that, especially if you're actually in like an Arab country or the UK, for example.
Yeah.
But it's like that same thing does not apply to them at all, right? Oh, it's rules for the women. They have to get dressed up. They have to do all this. But you know what? We can still have the occasional beer. Allah will forgive us, right? Or whatever arbitrary standard by which their God forgives sins. And it's just they just continue living a life as if they were just some sort of secularist trying to have a whole party life going on. So,
well, you see, you have to remember it really is arbitrary because at the end of the day, there are commentaries that I could pull up. I watched Christian Prince on this recently as well, and I can't remember the commentary he went to, so I'd need to go and look it up. But he essentially showed a Muslim guy that this dude lived all of his life pretty much trying to obey Allah, but in the end of it, he just did not make heaven
Hmm.
because guess why? Just wasn't Allah's will. It was recorded in destiny that he was meant for hellfire and not for paradise. So
Very fatalistic of them.
uh-huh. So this is the thing with Islam. Like they love saying, why does your God need a sacrifice to forgive sins?
Hmm.
Because our God is just. We
Yeah.
sinned against our God. We broke his law. That means that there's a forfeit of life. That means that a life has to be given in our place, right? Otherwise, we pay for it ourselves, and we can't pay for it, which means we go to hell. In Islam, what they love to say is, "Oh, Allah just forgives." Cool, your God's not just then. No one gets justice because
Yeah, and
Allah's not interested in justice.
thing that always gets me with that is that they like to talk about how they have this continuity with the Abrahamic faith, and that Christians are the ones that are like diverting because we left the oneness belief that was totally unanimously held to across all of history, right? That
Yep.
that's a whole other thing I can cover another time.
And for people who don't know, I'm saying yup, as in like it wasn't unanimous. The Jews were very divergent in their understanding of God.
Yeah. And you can see that in the language they used and even in early rabbinic sources too.
Because do you know
Um,
why? Not to cut you off, Gabe, but do you know why, folks? It's because the Jews understood that from the Shema, they were not saying that God was a singular. They understood that there was
Unipersonal.
plurality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they understood that there was plurality with God.
Many of them saw the same exact things that Christians saw and see still today.
Especially with the
Sodom and
angel of the Lord.
Sodom and Gomorrah is my favorite example because it's
Yahweh
Yahweh
rain and fire.
calls fire down from Yahweh in heaven. So there's two very distinct Yahwehs. That's
Yep.
my favorite example to point to because it's literally Yahweh, Yahweh, like same, not even two verses apart from each other. It's right there.
Oh, but
But
yeah, that's just agency.
either way, um, but so they like to make this claim to this consistency with the Abrahamic faith. God has always been just and has always required like a payment to be made or some sort of debt to be fulfilled. You see this even in Genesis, back at the Garden of Eden. What did God clothe Adam and Eve with?
Animals.
Yeah. So there was a payment, a ransom being made for them. And that same thing applies all the way up until Jesus, who is our ransom.
Yep. And the reason they can't wrap their head around this, though, but is because this is what I mean by like, I hold people like the guys we have on stream responsible, the so called scholars and the Da'i, I hold them responsible.
Mhm.
Your average Muslim doesn't have a clue about Christian theology. I'm just going to be honest, and I'm not even saying that to be harsh, it's just true. So whenever they hear things like, oh, the Christian God requires a blood payment, we don't use that language. We don't say God requires a blood payment. Like God is not paying himself in blood. So that's not what we mean. But God warned Adam and Eve, if you eat of this tree, the day of which you eat it, you shall die. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why die? Because whenever you disobey God, you create a separation between you and God. And if God is the source of life, you cut yourself off from that life and you die. Right? That means moral corruption. That means human decay. Now, whenever you then look at it and God says that the reason why, if anyone sheds the blood of man, his life is forfeit, God tells us why, because he says that life is in the blood. So, whenever we then talk about animal sacrifices, God, in his mercy, set up animal sacrifices not because he needed blood to be appeased, but because my life was already forfeit. Gabe, your life was already forfeit. We forfeited our life in Adam and Eve. That's the
Mhm.
point. God graciously set up animal sacrifices to cover us until the true Lamb of God could come and ultimately pay the debt that we owe. That's how our God is both just and merciful. You cannot say that about Allah. You just can't.
But it's because Allah just, he's God. He just
Clicks his
forgives.
fingers,
He
forgives.
just
Yep.
says, yeah, it's all good.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Which means justice goes out the window. So, this is why a lot of these guys live the way they do. It's because they know you technically can't offend Allah. As long as you don't commit shirk, you can't technically offend Allah. You can sin, do whatever you want, and then you can go and perform your ablutions, your prayers. You can go kiss the black stone, which forgives your sins.
I was going to say, that's in a form of atonement, the stone.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Muslims do, and we need to get back to this video too. But
Yeah.
Muslims believe in a
Multiple atonements, too.
They do, but they also most of them aren't aware of this because, I say, your average Muslim that you talk to is unaware of stuff like this. But on the Day of Judgment, Jews and Christians will be given in place of the Muslims. Guess what that is?
Atonement.
But
ransom, sacrifice, payment.
Yep. And it's
Go
also
down.
it's sacrificial as well. It's what we say Jesus did for us, which Muslims are like, oh no, that can't be, that can't happen. Oh well, guess what? According to you, I and other Christians and other Jews will be your sacrifice. This is the thing. They don't understand their own religion. And that's why I always make clear I don't actually hate Muslims. But what I hate is I hate dawah. I hate da'is because they lie and they do it knowingly.
Yeah.
Like these men are going to be guilty. Lord have mercy on them. I wouldn't want to see any of these guys dying without coming to know the Lord Jesus Christ, because can you imagine being guilty of the blood of how many people they've led astray?
I don't want to even imagine that.
No. Yep. Anyway, let's jump back in and then we'll have a few more things.
Anything about this topic. I'm trying to educate you here on stream. I've written about this in many places. I've done videos in many places. You've just watched clips. And then what seems to you to be kufr, then you say, oh, Daniel is upon kufr. Now I'm trying to educate you about the topic, and you want to change the subject. So let me read the quotes.
No one's changing the subject,
Jackie
Daniel.
Scholar, a raw.
No, sorry, I don't mean to stop this so quickly. This is not me trying to do like an ad hom attack. This is not something I would repeat a lot. But sometimes Daniel's movements, especially the hand movements in his head, sometimes he comes across a little bit gay. Just,
oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, but it's true. He just sometimes is a little bit.
Hey, he's just living out his religious convictions and following and obeying the likes of the Prophet Muhammad.
Yep. Well, as I say, I normally wouldn't repeat that because I'm not trying to do an ad hom attack. I'm just saying, like, as the kids would say, he's a little bit zesty sometimes.
Wait, zesty? That's what zesty means?
Fruity. Yeah, fruity.
I thought zesty just meant like it was like when you have a little bit of spice in your food.
No. It means like
flavor, you know?
Yeah, lemon zest, as in like fruity. So.
Oh, okay.
You now need to apologize to people you've been calling fruity.
I've never called anyone it, but oh man, I've heard it a lot, so I did not know that. Thanks.
Well, there you go.
Imam Nawawi. And he says, know that slaughtering animals for a being that's worshipped and in that being's name is like prostration, like sajda. Each of these, slaughter and prostration, is a form of veneration and worship that is exclusive to Allah, who alone is deserving of worship. So whoever slaughters for someone other than Allah, whether for a living being or an inanimate object like an idol, as someone else is animal. Now, you don't know anything about this topic. I'm trying.
Oh, Gabe, catch this language, right? Listen to what Daniel says here.
To educate you here on stream. I've written about this in many places. I've done videos in many places. You've just watched clips. And then what seems to you to be kufr, then you say, oh, Daniel is upon kufr. Now I'm trying to educate you about the topic, and you want to change the subject. So let me read the quotes.
No one's changing the subject,
Jackie
Daniel.
Scholar, a Rafi, is quoted by Imam Nawawi. And he says, know that slaughtering animals for a being that's worshipped and in that being's name is like prostration, like sajda.
Did you catch that?
Like? Or?
Yep, like prostration.
Mhm.
right? But these same guys will come up and say that whenever men proskuneoed Jesus, whenever they bowed down to Jesus, they were not offering worship.
Mhm.
But yet, in what Daniel's reading out here, all of this is likened towards worshipping Allah, meaning you cannot do it to randos. You can't do it to jinn. You can't do it to whatever, because guess what? It would be like worship.
Yeah.
Each of these, slaughter and prostration, is a form of veneration and worship that is exclusive
Is a form of worship.
to Allah, who alone is deserving of worship. So whoever slaughters for someone other than Allah, whether for a living being or an inanimate object like an idol, as an act of veneration and worship, then the slaughtered animal is not permissible to eat, and his action is an act of kufr. Just like one who prostrates to someone other than Allah with the prostration in.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. He was making it seem like it's more like he's just backing up what you've been saying this whole time, which is earlier he said like, and now it's becoming more solid.
Yep.
Obviously, he's just reading someone else's another scholar who's actually sat down and done a lot of research on this.
Yep.
I caught the name. It was Rafi, and I couldn't get the rest of it. So
yeah, hopefully we can get this downloaded and we can check that. But like this is the thing. He's about to go on now and say he's about to clarify and say intended as worship. Did Thomas intend worship to the Lord Jesus Christ when he bowed before him and said, "My Lord and my God"?
yes.
Which they know that's what Thomas intended. But what do they say? Oh no, Thomas was just paying him honor. And they basically, and Unitarians do this too, they read that sentence and go like, it's like they reenact it in their head where Thomas is looking at Jesus and he says, "My Lord and my God." That's how they understood. Like, that's honestly what they do. Meanwhile, what Thomas is doing is he's before Jesus, he bows down and he says, "My Lord and my God."
Mm-hmm.
And my God. He's calling Jesus his Lord and his God. But you see, these guys know that. But this is the double standards they use. And this is why I'm so glad to see these guys fighting with each other. Not because I take enjoyment out of it, although it is kind of funny, I will admit. But it's because notice how they won't allow the double standard to be used upon themselves.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to. I don't want to circle all the way back and reiterate it all over again, but the whole like Men of Al Zit thing. Yeah, no, we don't want to be circling the Kaaba. But it goes back to the Men of Al Zit thing that I mentioned, where I'm like, all right, you want to hold me to this standard? Okay, fine. I'll be held to that standard, and I'm gonna pay it to you equally.
Oh yeah.
It's just what the English says. It's just what this says. It's just the colloquial understanding of that word, right? It doesn't matter because you don't need to read something with the most important key piece of evidence or piece of detail that you need when reading context.
I can tell you this much: Abdullah made sure his piece wasn't up for offering.
No, he assured that it was saved for that special jinn or a special azit.
Yep. Abdullah just made sure he stayed behind the Diddy line.
Yep.
Intended as worship. Likewise, if he slaughters for that being or for someone else in the same manner intending worship, then the ruling is the same, i.e. the person who slaughters intending worship has committed disbelief. However, if he slaughters for someone other than Allah, not in this manner, meaning not intending worship, such as sacrificing or offering an animal to the Kaaba out of reverence for it as the house of Allah, or slaughter.
Oh, hang on a minute, Gabe. Multiple Muslims have told me we don't pray towards the Kaaba, we don't pray to the Kaaba. The Kaaba is just a direction. But you mean to tell me that Islamic scholars say you can sacrifice to the Kaaba? Wow.
The other thing to that too is, I've seen a lot of Muslims online saying, "Oh, you're saying we're idol worshiping," and then they post a picture of a nun bowing to Mary, a statue of Mary. And they're like, "But this is far more idol worshiping than we do." I'm like,
no.
I'm like, if you're going to say that the nun bowing and like praying the rosary or something is idol worship, then you have to say that the Kaaba, like circling the Kaaba, all of that is idol worship as well.
Dude, like,
otherwise you have to affirm a like at least parallel or something similar to the Roman Catholic interpretation of veneration. So,
which is what Daniel just read as well. Like that imam, whoever he is quoting, has realized that veneration also exists. But also, here's the other thing.
It did say, at least he read, and I maybe I misheard it, but it said that veneration was only for Allah. But maybe he meant that. Maybe in saying that he meant that that there is certain veneration that's only meant for Allah, and then he is going down the path.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what they're all arguing over. So like, the reason why they're holding on to the argument that, oh no, people only honored Jesus by bowing, is because they know to bow down even in veneration to Jesus would be something that in their worldview, all that can only be to Allah. So that's why they have to be so disingenuous with their text. They have to say things like, oh no, it's just honor towards Jesus. But going back to the whole Kaaba thing, regardless of my differences on the view of Mary or bowing, to a statue of Mary, there's not one Catholic I know that thinks Mary is going to pay for their sins. Right? Whenever you bow to the Kaaba and you kiss the Kaaba, you believe that on Judgment Day that Kaaba will gain 2 eyes and a tongue that will testify to Allah on your behalf that you kissed it and that your sins are forgiven. Just think about that. Not to mention the fact that the Kaaba was already a place where idols were set up long before Muhammad. All Muhammad did was remove the idols and reinstitute the practice and say that it was for Allah. Like, this is the thing. This is idol worship at its finest.
For the messenger of Allah.
I'm looking for that video right now. If you could send that to me.
What video?
The live stream we're watching. I'm gonna see if I can get it downloaded real quick before they delete it.
So just go to Jack Brancantella 2.0.
Thing that renders the slaughtered animal impermissible to eat. This is the meaning of the common expression, I've offered this to the haram or the Kaaba. Of this same kind of slaughtering when receiving the sultan, because it expresses happiness at his arrival, which is akin to slaughtering an aqiqah for the newborn. Such acts do not necessitate kufr. Similarly, prostrating to another human out of humility or submission does not necessitate kufr.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Now, notice that? That's Daniel's view. So bowing towards another human doesn't now I'm struggling with the word because he was. It doesn't. Why am I struggling with that word? Necessitate. Yeah. See, whenever you overthink a word, sometimes it really does get you. But he's pointing out that in his view, and what he says, is the traditional view, it doesn't automatically mean shirk. But yet Jack, Dean, and all these other guys believe that it does, because they believe that this type of action can only belong to Allah. So notice the infighting with these guys. This is how pathetic it gets.
Haram.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay.
Okay, then
so
why
I agree with the prostration.
When I say slaughtering for other than Allah is not necessarily kufr and shirk, that's correct according to Imam Nawawi and Ar-Rafi.
So there's that dude's name again, Gabe. But I'm not even.
Rafi, and then I can't pronounce the other one.
I don't even try, and I don't care. Like, Muslims will come on here and make fun of me because I can't pronounce it. I really don't care.
Yeah.
That's correct. So why are you accusing me of being on kufr for that? Or Jake,
yeah, so that's why okay. So Daniel, first of all,
and if Daniel is only this good at debating Christians, he'd be really good at that.
That's the thing. That's what I pointed out.
Yeah.
Daniel knows his own religion, I say, very well. Because he can come up here freely. Like right now, yes, Daniel's got something clearly in front of him on the screen. Big whip.
That's what he was just reading.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, like, I watch a lot of these live streams recently, like with Nick, like Fearless Truth and stuff, and like, even from my own side, and this is not a knock on Nick, and it's not a knock on, there's an Orthodox guy I watch as well. His name's called Bear the Image. They both do an incredible job. But do you know what I hate from both the Muslim and the Christian side, and even atheists, because atheists do these streams too? See this whole idea that if you need to go and read a source or whatever, I hate rhetoric for the sake of rhetoric, right? Because it's similar to in boxing. Boxing coaches tell you, even at the end of the fight, if you got your ass kicked for 8 rounds, get up and celebrate like you dominated all 8 rounds. Why? Because you may convince a judge, you may convince an audience member that you did a lot better than you did. So what I hate is whenever I watch these live streams, and like, say for example, a Muslim does come on, and I'll do it from our side so it doesn't seem like I'm being biased. A Muslim comes on, he says something to a Christian, the Christian's like, well, where is that? Go, go get a source or whatever. And the Muslim says, oh, I don't know. I hate this type of rhetoric. Oh, chat, clip it,
Mhm.
chat. See, look, we got them. They don't have sources. They need sources. Look, he has to go and look something up. I hate that type of rhetoric. Who is a walking AI machine? Who is a walking Google, ChatGPT, where we have the information, at the tip of our hats? So see, whenever people do this whole thing, oh look, we got them, clip it, blah blah blah. I hate that type of nonsense because it's not actually an argument. It's just rhetoric, and it's just designed to try and make you look good.
Yeah, I usually, if anything, I usually will give people more credit when they actually
Yep.
look up and pull up a source,
Mhm.
right? And then actually sit down and read it.
Now, don't get me wrong. This is where some people try and say I have a double standard, but I don't think this is a double standard. This is just me applying their standard back on them. Similarly to the way you said about the whole Al Sit thing, right?
Mhm.
If I've got a Muslim that comes on and they're really arrogant, and say, for example, they say to me, oh, in the Catholic catechism it says XYZ, and I'm like, I don't think it does. I'm going to go and look that up. And they do the whole thing, clip it, chat, clip it. He doesn't know his own sources. Now, newsflash, everyone, I'm not a Roman Catholic, but I'm using that as an example, right? Just because I would have to go and look something up does not mean, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about, or I don't know whatever. It just means I don't have, retained information in my head at the drop of a hat. Now, if that Muslim applies that standard to me, if he then later in the call needs to go and look something up, I will return that favor.
Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah, I'll match his energy. But what you're not going to find is whenever we do call in streams, if a Muslim says to me, I don't know, I would have to go and look that up, I'm going to turn around and say to them, fair play, go and look it up.
Respect.
Yeah.
Please. I want you to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
If that's
Because
what
that's,
if I'm following the wrong religion, I want to be directed to the right religion.
Yep.
Now, I happen to believe that their evidence for Christianity way, and I mean way, is outperforms the evidence for any other faith or belief structure out there.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I don't even think it's close. I've been looking at a lot of Hindu stuff as well lately because I'm trying to fill in gaps where a lot of people aren't at in order to, if anything, at least show people in those areas that they're, a Hindu or an Indian who is a Christian and wants to, help spread Christianity might need some resources. And if I'm lucky enough to have those, want to meet people where they're at and get people resources. And, right now with Hinduism, there's not a lot of stuff out there for Christians interacting with them. And that's because it's really hard. But I'll be honest, I lost a little bit where I was going there. Where was I going with that?
What I was going to say is I need to run to the bathroom here, so I'm going to let these guys continue to tear each other apart for a bit while I go to the bathroom. So
sounds good.
1 second. Okay. 1 sec.
They're still live too. I have their live stream up in another tab.
If someone qualifies it as they're not sacrificing to Allah in the name of Allah, but they're sacrificing.
Who is this?
What do you say?
I gave you the source of my quote. What is the source of your?
Reading? I'm not reading it. I'm just telling you what my opinion is, and then I'll read from Ibn Baz because you said Ibn Baz says it's not shirk. So, so first I'll give you my opinion. So my opinion is that if someone is sacrificing in the name of other than Allah, then that's shirk. If someone's sacrificing in the name of Allah for someone, then that's not shirk. Now, if you're gonna add, if you do intend that qualification, then obviously I wouldn't believe you're on kufr then. Otherwise, I will believe that if you haven't added that qualification, that it's in the name of Allah for someone else. Now,
Wait, do you know the
from
context of why this discussion even came up? Why we're talking about slaughtering to jinn?
just share my
Even-
screen,
do you
Jake,
know?
if you don't mind. Yeah, so the context was about istighatha, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
So
you
Ibn
said
Baz,
you watched the video.
so Ibn Baz,
what was the
dude, come on,
specific thing?
Daniel,
What was
Daniel,
the
Daniel, Daniel, you
specific thing
can't
about the
play victim with me interrupting you, and then you do it to
My
me.
goodness gracious.
So
This
I ask you a
dude
question?
drives me nuts every time he
sacrifice
does
other
this.
than Allah is shirk. That's what Ibn Baz says clearly on one of his fatwas. So I can put the link here in the back chat even. So 1 second. So I don't know where you got that Ibn Baz says that it's not shirk.
Who drives you nuts?
Oh, Dean. He drives me nuts dude, every time. I can't watch the dude for too long because luckily I'm looking at the stream here. I don't see him on there, do I?
No, Dean left a while ago.
He bounces.
Yeah.
And now, luckily he's not going to be there, but Dean drives me nuts all the time because he always does the same thing where he'll interrupt and interject. And then the moment you're like, wait, but hold on, and he just keeps going. And then when you try to be like, wait, you're trying to take me out of context. I already addressed that. Then he just continues going and he goes, hold, don't try playing the victim card now. And I'm like, in doing that and in saying that, you are playing the victim card.
Do you know why I said what I said a while ago? It's because of guys like Dean and Orthodox Muslim. Because what I will give Dean credit for is Dean can at least keep himself relatively respectful when he's on streams with Christians. Orthodox Muslim can't. He screams, he talks over you, he insults, he this, that's, and the other. That's why he constantly gets booted. But this is what I mean about streamers like Dean and Orthodox Muslim and stuff. They're not scholars. They admit they don't know their own sources very well. They really don't know Christianity at all. All they've done is they've memorized talking points, and then whenever they say something, this is where the rhetoric game comes in. Because I'm just going to be honest, a lot of Muslims, whenever they follow guys like Dean Responds and Orthodox Muslims, they're not actually tracking with the argument. They're just waiting to hear the usual punch cards like, oh, clip a chat, we got them, we roasted them. That's where all the rhetoric comes in. And then you've got Muslims in the comments here like, oh, Dean and Orthodox Muslim, they're such strong debaters. They're not. It's why they don't really do public debates. What they do is public shouting.
Yeah, and some of that is even like just kind of a cultural thing within like the Arabic culture where it's like you can have a Muslim, and I think that David has even used Nabil for this analogy. You can have a Muslim who can sit down and watch a Christian and an atheist debate, and he can unbiasedly articulate who won the debate based upon who was actually answering, who had control of the debate, who was answering the questions, how soundly they structured their arguments, and so on and so forth, right? But the moment that you get a Muslim in there, he's shouting, hooting, hollering, something that we would say that is like you're weak. You
lack of composure, you don't.
You require your emotional impulse to be put on there. That usually shows you don't know what you're talking about, you're weak, or the position you're trying to articulate just isn't actually that true. But in the Arabic culture, wow, he must really care about that thing he's arguing for. For someone, they have got him so angry that he is hooting and hollering and yelling at them on a stage or a digital stage in front of everyone. Man, that is like, that guy won that debate. And the rest of us are sitting there going,
that dude lost.
You can't be serious. That dude lost the debate. And this is a very key point, especially when looking into other religions and other faiths. It's a very good thing to know. People don't think the same way you do. People do not think the same way the people around you do. They think in Islamic cultures, they have a very, very fundamentally different understanding of a lot of stuff, not even just like how to debate. It falls into like how to what is the best, like even just ideas like the best means of preservation.
Yeah.
No one in a Christian or like Jewish or Westernized context would have ever thought that saying things and is the best way to preserve something, right? We have always recognized that there is not this, well, till like the Middle Ages, well, a little bit after the Middle Age, 4th century, till the 4th century, like Christians and Jews have recognized, yeah, you cannot trust an oral tradition to be reliable. We have to write these things down. That is why the texts of Scripture have always been written and passed, copied by scribe after scribe after scribe, monk after monk. They have been stored and they have been revered. It's why we have things. That's why we like do that. That is a very Christian cultural thing, or Jewish and Christian cultural thing. Whereas in other cultures, like the Arabian cultures, Muhammad literally was like, yeah, no, we're going to miraculously be able to preserve everything just because Muhammad couldn't read, he couldn't write. So he's like, yeah, we're going to miraculously preserve everything just by memory.
And he also got revelation very very interesting times whenever he needed something, to which Aisha herself actually even points out.
Yeah. But that's just a key thing for anyone watching this that is sitting there going, yeah, I want to get into the debate scene. I want to do apologetics and some polemics, and I want to ultimately defend Christianity and, help bring people to Christ in doing that. If that's where you're at and you're sitting there going, I want to do that, this is such a fundamental thing that you must understand. Because especially here in the United States, for whatever reason, here in the United States, everyone thinks that everyone else thinks like us. But I can tell you right now that is not true. You get a conservative and a liberal, right? And you ask them about one question, you'll realize that even just within our own country, our own country, same neighborhood, same street, everything can be the same. They will have two fundamentally different understandings of like the rights of women and does a child warrant its death? Because ultimately it's because culture comes from religion. That's an argument I always use, but you just have to recognize that when you're engaging with people.
Yep. I did an well, it's actually a second part, but I did a second part of my interview with Skinny Ty recently on Islam, and I shared that exact same thing. Because one of the questions from one of his listeners was, how do you witness to Muslims? And one of the things I pointed out that if we are witnessing to a Western Muslim, someone who has been raised in the Western world, maybe even as a convert, or as they would say, a revert, obviously, but we would do it in a very different way, because them being a Westerner, the likelihood is they are more open to the slow, let me show you the evidence, the reasoning calmly, versus if you're dealing with an Arab. Now, an Arab is they're not necessarily going to appreciate what you have to say, but they will expect if you can use, little jabs that they're going to throw at you. So if you can hang, like if they throw a jab at you and you throw a jab back at them, they will actually respect you more. They still won't like what you're saying, but they'll respect you more because you're understanding that it is their culture to get personal whenever something is personal. And for them, their faith is obviously personal. So,
well, for everyone, it's personal. It's one of the most deeply, especially like within the Christian context too, especially because it's not just this religion of practices. We are called to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength.
Yeah,
that requires an interpersonal relationship with Him.
I think you know my view on this. Sometimes I think Christians are way too weak at times on how we respond. Like sometimes I think we should be heated because it's certain circumstances it is right to be heated. Like even going back into the Old Testament, whenever, and I'm not going to quote this perfectly right now because I was reading about this earlier, but it's talking about plagues breaking out. among the camp of Israel, because like a man has brought a woman of a different nation into his tent to sleep with her like publicly before the tabernacle of the Lord. And I forget who it is again because off the top of my head, and it's really late here as well. It's like 3 a.m. But one of the men of Israel basically goes into the tent with a spear and rams them both through, killing them, and that automatically stops the plague because God commends this guy for actually taking the law of the Lord seriously.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not saying we need to go around ramming spears through people, but what
Yeah.
I am saying is we in the West at times sometimes like someone can insult the Lord and we'll go, you'll answer to the Lord for that. And that is true. They will answer to the Lord for that. But sometimes I think we're a little bit too weak in the sense that we'll not fight back, we'll not say something back. And I don't mean necessarily out of retaliation, but
Hmm.
I mean like John Calvin has a famous quote like, dogs bark whenever their master is attacked. Who would I be if I didn't bark whenever my master's attacked? Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a time and a place to answer. But yeah, most times in the West, people are just they're very, you know, they
Squishy.
they overemphasize. Well, first of all, I think they misunderstand the term meek, but they overemphasize the term. Jesus was meek. That does not mean that Jesus was weak. This is the Jesus that flipped over tables, made a whip from cords, drove people out, and also, I've got a news flash for people.
Insult.
This, huh?
Insulted people.
Well, that
The
as well,
Pharisees.
but
Yeah.
the cross that Jesus carried, that he had to carry up Golgotha, would have been anywhere between 250 and 300 pounds. Jesus was not a weak physical dude. And by the way, he was carrying that after being scourged. Like, think about that. Most dudes I know in my life can't even lift 200 pounds, never mind carry a 250 to 300 pound, cross.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to, mess up your flow here, but it's kind of disappointing for those dudes. Can't lift 200 pounds.
Hmm.
But I don't know. That one baffles me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what if your wife and kids are sick and you need to run and move? How are you going to carry them?
Yep.
Right?
Well,
Yeah,
this the thing.
140-pound wife, a 100-pound kid. Maybe not quite 100
I
pounds.
was
We'll
going to
say.
say, dang, dude, what type of kid are you having?
I mean, just trying to throw numbers out there, and
Yeah.
I just look at that. I'm like, dang.
Look, at the end of the day, you're going to get guys of varying strength. Like, that's
Yeah.
natural. But should you be a dude that is capable of lifting serious weight? Yeah. Like, it's just the truth. That's why I'm glad to see a lot more Christian men are starting to get into their fitness now. My cardio is trash, like it's bad. I'll be honest.
Mm.
Weight wise, I can throw around serious weight, and I never give out numbers because people sometimes even ask on X, and I'm like, I don't even want to give out numbers because you're going to get people that are be like, oh, that's weak, or you're going to get people that be like, "Oh, that's made up." You're never going to win, and then to the other crowd, you're just going to look like you're either boasting or you're being humble. You just can't win. So the best way to play that game is you don't need to share what weight you lift with people. I know what weight I can lift comfortably. I don't ego lift because I'm too old for that now. Like I'm 35, my shoulders are ruined. Um, but I know what I can comfortably lift, and I am not what's the word?
I
Not
have no.
hang on, I'll get it in a second. It's not whenever whenever you're peer pressured into something, it's through kind of like not embarrassment, but
Well, pressure or social coercion.
sort of it's not the right word. It'll come to me eventually, but basically, some people would be very easily swayed that, if say someone said, you're a 30-year-old man, you should be able to lift XYZ, and that person can't lift that, they would be very easily swayed into thinking, oh, I'm a failure, I'm a this, that, and the other. But if you only weigh 120 pounds or whatever, yeah, you're more than likely not going to be able to throw around 300 pounds in the gym. Like, that's just simple, right?
Mhm.
But at least be able to lift your own, like they say, in order to be truly classified as, like, someone who is athletically strong, you should be able to at least lift your body weight and then some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
like,
mean,
if you can't even lift your own body weight, and again, there's dudes I know that sadly can't lift their own body weight. It's yeah. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway,
yeah.
let's jump in because they're still streaming. We're nowhere near going to get through all
Yeah.
that. We're not even going to get to where Dean leaves, but I do want to get to the part where it does get a little bit spicier. Because notice how Jake hasn't really been talking much. He's kind of letting Daniel and Dean go at it. Daniel
Mhm.
eventually drags Dean in, so I want to get to that. It's hopefully soon.
Want me to
Okay.
read that? But I'll
Yeah.
I'll read you the
Yeah.
Bin Baz quote. But first, do you know the context of this whole discussion? Like, why did this come up?
Yes, man. It's in the context of
It's not
Istigatha.
Istigatha. No, that's not what the context is, actually. The context is that Farid was saying that I'm a shirk apologist like Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab. And Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab says in one of his texts about
Okay.
sacrificing to other than Allah, he says this: as far as sacrificing to other than Allah, it's held under the status of impermissible actions. It's not classed as major kufr unless the sacrifice is done to idols or what is worshipped besides Allah, such as the sun and the stars. So Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab says this statement. Farid says this is why we can't trust Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab, the brother of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, and that's why he's a shirk apologist, just like Daniel. So I go and look at the Hanbali school, I look at the Shafi school, I bring up these quotes from Nawawi, Al-Rafi, and others, Azhar University.
And again, this is just for the audience sake, Gabe. I know I don't need to repeat this with you, but this is what I mean. See, whenever Muslims tell you the lie that they are one and they're not like the Christians, that they're united, they don't have different thoughts. They do. They have multiple different schools of thoughts. Multiple.
Mhm.
They all disagree, and they all takfir one another. And this one doesn't hold true belief. This one doesn't practice true Islam. This one departs from the Prophet. So whenever this is why in the live earlier, I can't speak for now because I'm not watching it live anymore. But earlier, you literally had Muslims begging Jack to shut down the stream because they were like, "This is not good in front of the Ummah. This is making us look bad." The Christians are laughing, and like,
Yeah. To
we're
maybe
not.
give. Oh, go
Sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No,
I
you
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say to maybe give another analogy for anyone watching this. Anyone who says that their family has no issues or that their family is all in unanimous consent on anything
Mm-hmm.
is lying to you, right? Whether that's, quite frankly, I'll throw my jab at my fellow brothers and sisters here, Eastern Orthodoxy or Oriental Orthodoxy or Roman Catholicism. Because I've seen a lot of Roman Catholics where they're like, you Protestants have all these divisions and all these problems, but
Mm-hmm.
in all reality, they have the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every group has different schools of thought and different divisions. It's why, like, I'll talk to an atheist, right? I've got this pseudo-intellectual Gnosticist type guy that I try to talk to every now and again.
Yeah.
And one of his arguments against when I was like, yeah, why don't you give Christianity a shot? Or I said something along the lines of Christianity is the one true Yahwinian tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, which Christianity? I'm like, Christianity. There is
Yeah.
only one Christianity.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. And then just moved on. And then when one day I was talking to another guy about like different schools of thought within Christianity, how you have, Scotists, for example, or you have,
Aquinas.
yeah, I'm trying to, yeah. what was the other name? I don't remember the name of the group I was specifically referencing.
Hmm.
It was just breaking down kind of what they were believing and what their ideas are. And he's like, "Oh, but I thought you said Christianity was there was only one Christianity." I'm like, a different school of thought isn't a completely different religion. Just like how a different denomination isn't a completely different religion,
Yep.
or even you could say different sects aren't necessarily completely different religions.
No. You see, the thing is though, but Christians don't hide the fact that we have differences. We have
Mhm.
the core message. So anyone that would come along and say, "Oh, well, there's this group over here that says that Jesus wasn't crucified," right? We would look at that and go, "Well, then they're not Christian." Like, there's certain beliefs that you need to hold to in
Mhm.
order to be considered a Christian. So if you deny any of those, we're going to say you're not a Christian. You're not a part of the Christian family. However, whenever it comes to Muslims, this is what they do. This is kind of the first time that it's not the first time, but it's one of the biggest times that all of this is being made public. It's been put out into the open, which is why you've got a lot of Muslims commenting saying, "Don't do, guys, don't do this in public. It's bad for the ummah." Think about the time, Gabe. Did you ever watch whenever Muhammad Hijab had Yasser Qadi on, and he revealed that there's holes in the narrative in regards to the fact that the Quran has been perfectly preserved?
No, but I've seen like his educational stuff on that where
Right.
he has
Well,
got, like an actual seminary type thing. I don't remember what Muslims call their theological institution
yeah.
as far as like training up the imam, but like
Mhm.
he outlined that there are holes in the narrative, that there's not just one Quran, all of that type of stuff
Yep.
in those types of videos.
Well, basically, long story short, Muhammad Hijab pulled that video down because so many people complained we can't have this in public, we can't have the Ummah knowing this. Um, and Yasser Qadi basically got blacklisted. He was blacklisted. He was not to be brought on people's channels. He was pushing a kufr message. This is how they act. Christians don't hide. We have different schools of thoughts. We have different understandings of how a doctrine plays out or what it looks like internally, but we don't deny the doctrine, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Is that true of Muslims? In a certain sense, yes, but here's a different sense. Some of these guys do have a different religion, and the reason why is because certain schools of thought within Islam do deny all their core tenets, which is what Jack's problem with Daniel is. And Daniel's pointing back and saying, no, even, Orthodox Sunni Imams said that this is not necessarily shirk. But for Jack and his scholars, the people he appealed to, he says, but this is shirk. And if you commit shirk, you're an apostate. You're not even a Muslim anymore. So if we're going to be charitable, yeah, we could say this is just disagreements. But if you're being more accurate, their schools of thought are so diverse that you can just straight up not even be a Muslim.
Like you have an entire sect of Islam that does not accept the Hadith. Like it doesn't matter if it's Sahih, doesn't matter. They just don't accept the Hadith.
Mhm.
So that would be like if we said, I do not accept the well, I do accept the Nicene Creed. Very clearly making that statement. I affirm the Nicene Creed.
Yep.
But that would be like if you had Christians step out and say, I do not accept the Nicene Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well,
we could bring up issues with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, small little plug. We are currently going through this book in book club. Gabe, you missed the first one. Hopefully, you'll be with us
Yeah.
for the next. But we do actually have a Muslim guy that is studying with us, and he is a Quran only Muslim, and he's a really nice guy. So that's the thing, because a lot of my videos recently have been getting flagged by Muslims, and some of the comments, I don't normally delete comments, but I delete comments when they get personal or threats are made.
Mhm.
But you're doing something right whenever you've got Muslims not even just flagging your videos, but they're leaving inappropriate and obscene comments and stuff. But this claim that because you're a Christian you must automatically hate Muslims, no. In fact, we've got a dude that's in our book club that's going to be studying with us. Like, welcome. Like, he knows
Mhm.
it's not a debate place, so there's going to be no debate, and he's perfectly okay with that. He's got an interest in learning about the fathers and fair play.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's continue with this, Gabe, because I think we're near the part now where he drags Jack in.
And I say
Cool
that,
beans.
look, all of them say that sacrificing to other than Allah, as mentioned by Sulaiman.
It
ibn
depends what they
Abdul
mean,
Wahab,
dude. It depends what they mean.
is not necessarily kufr, is not necessarily major kufr or shirk.
Daniel,
So
Daniel,
why? So you're
I agree.
Now, not to get
See.
into the nitty gritty here, just think about that. Not necessarily major kufr. So there's minor kufr.
Yep.
Interesting.
There's
With a-
minor
so
kufr,
yes.
major kufr. It's like how there's, I'm gonna get yelled at for this. It's kind of like how there's venial sins versus mortal sins.
I don't know.
Maybe not kufr, but because all
Yeah, because
just
remember
means
now.
disbelief. So I'm
Well,
thinking of something different.
it does, but whenever they call each other kufr, you have to remember it's not just disbelief. They are calling them like these guys
Heretic.
both. Yeah, so like these guys both would call Daniel a mushrik, someone who is an apostate, someone that's a true unbeliever. So their term kufr really does it carries a lot more weight versus just saying disbelief.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess that analogy doesn't really work then.
Yeah, it's more just along the lines of obviously I'm going to critique Islam against Christianity. Like that's my natural starting position, but that is honestly like saying, and I know where you were going with the venial versus mortal, but that
Mm.
that is honestly like saying major heresy and minor heresy. They're both heresy.
Yeah.
Heresy is damnable. So saying minor doesn't make a difference. So in their worldview, I'm not going to claim to be an expert. I know more than enough to disagree with it. But I'm not going to get dragged into the nitty gritty right now with what Daniel meant by that. But to say it's not necessarily major kufr it kind of just raises a red flag for me. But
Mhm.
read is incorrect. And if you want to call
Daniel.
if you want to call Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahab and Daniel a shirk apologist, you have to apply that to Imam.
No, I got you. I got you, Daniel. I got you. Here.
You get that? So
Yeah,
then,
I
how are
understand.
you?
Yeah, I
tagging
understand what you're saying,
along?
Daniel.
How are you
Daniel, man.
tagging
I'm letting
along
you
with
speak.
Fareed and saying,
Daniel,
yes,
Daniel,
actually,
Daniel,
you
chill.
are a shirk
Daniel, but I don't want.
This
to
is
tell you
what
to-
Dean does, man. It messes with me. He's interrupted Daniel this entire time. Daniel has been answering and providing his rebuttal,
Mhm.
and he has been interrupting Daniel this entire time.
Mhm.
And the moment that that Dean starts speaking, if Daniel goes, "Hey, I have to interject a point here because you're missing something, a key detail," he's gonna be like, "Whoa, shut up."
Yeah.
It's just
Because do you know why? This is what people like Dean and Orthodox Muslim have taught people to do. They are not actually knowledgeable in actual sources and actual debate. What they are used to is these internet type call-in shows that are called debates. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a form of debate, but
Mhm.
it's not a formal debate because in this type of debate, what you keep get to do is the type of rhetoric that Dean and Orthodox Muslim use, where it's I'm going to talk over the top of you, I'm going to shout over the top of you, I'm going to be like, chat, clip this, I just got him to say whatever. It's all designed as like a fireworks show. Look at the big moments, right? There's no substantive points being made by Dean. But what Dean's going to keep doing here to Daniel is he's going to keep using rhetoric. Things like, oh, I let you speak, blah, blah, blah. No, you haven't. You keep interjecting. And what Daniel is actually doing here is Daniel's holding his feet to the fire. He won't allow him to escape the point.
Mhm. Which is a good move on Daniel's part.
It is like say what you want about Daniel. Daniel is someone that I say again. I'm obviously going to say this, but I think even if you got an atheist who knew a little bit about Christianity, to watch one of Daniel's debates, he would say Daniel's got a very surface level understanding of what Christians actually believe.
Mhm.
So there's that. But does Daniel actually understand the art of debate? I would say he does. People like Dean, an Orthodox Muslim, don't. They understand the internet form of it, where it's all rhetoric and chat. Clip this and oh look. Do you know something? Because I said this earlier. I watch a lot more of these shows now where it's Christians that have Muslims call in and stuff. And again, I
Mhm.
even hate this from my own side. Do you know what phrase I have begun to hate?
Well, speaking that you've said it like 6 times already.
I haven't said
Clip
this one yet.
this? Oh, okay, then I'm not gonna get it then.
Yeah.
I thought it was clip
Oh,
this.
well, clip this is obviously big because I've said it multiple times. But like, see, anytime you're not really sure of a point and you want to buy time, just use chat clip this because it conditions your audience to think, oh, you've got a really good point. You see something that's coming and it's going to be a really clippable moment. It's nonsense. But the one that I hate is, do you see when debaters are struggling now? Chat, he's running. Chat, he's running. He's running.
Yeah.
It's like, who's running? We're right here. We're having a discussion. Just because I won't give you the yes or no answer that you want me to give. Because sometimes, here's the thing, sometimes questions can't answer by a yes or a no. And they know
Yeah.
that. Muslims, especially these da'i, they know that because I've seen Dean responds on shows with IP and stuff, and he refuses to give a yes or no answer whenever they ask something about Allah's nature, right? Whenever he wants to ask something about the hypostatic union, and he's maybe got someone like Chris from Speaker's Corner on, and Chris is mild a lot of the times. Sometimes he can give as good as he gets, but Chris is quite a mild guy. Chris is trying to give an articulated answer, and all you'll hear from people like Orthodox Muslim and Dean is chat. He's running. He can't give an answer. He can't. Chris. It's just a simple yes or no. It's a simple yes or no. Just answer, Chris. That's not debate. And
Mhm.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. If you're a follower of someone like Dean, or even a follower of someone from the Christian side that does that, I'm sorry, but you're a moron, and you're being led into groupthink. Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, so therefore, if he says he's running, he's running. No, how about you think for yourself and work out, is my guy maybe using tricks of the trade? Like, maybe he's not actually making good points. Maybe he's just using tricks of the trade.
Mhm.
Anyway, let's get back in.
You can speak, but I'll speak in response. Now, it depends what you mean when you say you're sacrificing, right? I didn't see the qualification that you can sacrifice to Allah.
Sorry, bro. I was midway through talking. I did not even say this. Romans 8, if you're still there and you want to call in, just let me know. Gabe, keep an eye on the chat because I'm not actually in the studio. I'm in YouTube hitting
Oh,
play.
yeah.
For someone, right? So sacrifice to Allah for a king or for whatever it might be, for a being or whatever. Now, if you're going to add that qualification, then that's not necessarily shirk. I haven't read Sulaiman to know exactly what he intends by what he's saying there, so I
He
can't make
says he's
a
here.
judgment. I haven't even read that.
Okay.
But what I can
I will generate the old link. This is what happens whenever you're not paying attention to the chat.
They're still going? Oh my goodness. Now they've got like 6 people up there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And
people
again,
up
I might have to eat my words here, which I have got no problem doing. But I would still, if this was anyone else, I would be more confident. Jack may leave it up unchallenged, but I don't think this stream will be fully intact by the end of it because there'll be way too many Muslims being like, pull this. So part of the reason why I'm trying to walk through the juicy parts right now is at least it's here.
Yep. And
can
I'm
say
going to be
is
backing it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't see that qualification in your video. Now, do you agree that if
Doesn't
you
matter.
sacrifice,
The
if
qualification-
do
you see what the
Daniel,
qualifications are based on?
Daniel, answer my question because I've been answering yours. Do you agree that if you slaughter in the name of other than Allah, then that's shirk?
It depends on your intention. Yeah, it depends on your intention
my
and belief.
God.
As it says,
No, sorry, I had to mute my mic for a minute because I was rattling to get another drink. Notice what Dean just did there, and Gabe, you laughed at it, so it means you caught it. Dean was like, Daniel, answer the question because I've been answering yours. Now, Gabe, neither you nor I have a horse in this race because this is Muslims taking lumps out of each other, right?
Mhm.
Has Dean been answering Daniel's questions?
No,
No. He's been dancing around them with
I
phrases
haven't
like,
read this, so let me
I
ask you
yeah, I
this.
haven't read it. I haven't seen the context. I've only watched your clips. That's not answering. That's dancing around the subject. Daniel is actually, despite what people say about him, Daniel's up there giving his point of view and saying, "This is my point of view. This is also the point of view of Suleiman, whatever his other name is." Um, this is the thing. People that follow Dean, people that follow Orthodox Muslim, they are so used to this type of debate trick where it's like, answer the question, Daniel, I've answered yours. And then you look in the chat and you've got all these bots. And I don't mean literal bots, by the way, I mean bots as in they're thinking. Being like, oh, Dean's got him on the run, Dean's got him trapped. No. Dean's using a debate tactic that you are unaware you're being manipulated by. And Daniel later on, maybe I've already been through it, I can't remember, but Daniel at one point calls this out and he says, your debate tactics aren't going to work on me.
All right, I haven't heard you say that,
Yeah.
so I'm
It could have
curious.
been earlier in the stream, you see, that's what I'm saying. So
in the
Yeah.
quote that I read from Al Rafi,
No, Daniel.
if you
but
intend, if you're sacrificing to a god, to an idol, yes, and you're like making yourself humble, you're humbling yourself. You view the this is an idol that you're
listen to all the in the background. It's designed to get his audience to be like, oh, Daniel doesn't get it.
Yeah.
slaughtering for. Yeah, that is shirk. It depends on your intention, and that's exactly what the quote said. That I read. Did you
Meanwhile,
not
Jack's
understand
just
it?
chilling.
Yeah, he's just
So here's
chilling,
the Bin Baz quote.
shaking his head every now and
Specifically
again. Though.
on slaughtering.
What was that, Gabe?
He's shaking his head every now and again, though. So he's
That's
really
what I say.
shaking
Like
him with that
once,
head shake.
yeah, once Daniel gets Dean on the ropes and he gets Dean to walk back with, like, and this is the thing, Dean does actually walk back. So as much as Dean does debate tactics at times, what I will say in Dean's credit is there are times where Dean will, I'll not say admit defeat because he'll never put it in those words, but he'll at least walk back things and be like, well, you know, if I said that, I take it back or whatever. So
Yeah.
the last I seen was Daniel gets Dean to walk something back, and then he immediately drags Jack in. That's the part I want to see because that's where it gets spicy. Because Jack is a lot more brutal in how he responds.
To Jin.
Okay.
So someone asked, this is the fatwa. The question is a question from one of our Sudanese brother states. In our country, there's a custom whereby a person begins constructing a house. He slaughters an animal when the building reaches the halfway point, or the slaughter is delayed until the construction is completed and the person intends to move into the house. Relatives and neighbors are invited to this slaughtered animal. What is your view of this practice? And is there any legislated act that is recommended to be performed before moving into a new house? Please advise us and may Allah reward you. So Bin Baz answers. This is a Wahhabi sheikh. All praises due to Allah.
Now, all jokes aside, every time they say Wahhabi, I always think wasabi.
Wasabi. Yeah. I didn't used to, but ever since you mentioned it, I bet that was the first thought in my head. I'm like, man, this candy I just put in my mouth. Imagine if it was wasabi right now. That would have been pretty insane.
Yep. Romans 8, welcome, my friend.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Why are you in your alt channel? I'm curious.
I'm streaming on both, bro.
No,
Oh,
it's not on the other one.
It's not?
No, that's why I didn't know you were live. Like, I didn't even get an X notification or anything.
It's telling me I'm live, though.
Yeah, well, I know you're not because I think if I open up YouTube, if I just type you on my browser, the first thing is youtube.com/@the layman apologist. And
Oh, it should be.
yeah, no, you're, yep. But you know, you're not live on there, so
No wonder the YouTube views have been so low. Why are we not live? Like, it's on EV Mux, it's telling me we're live.
you're
But
live
yeah,
on X. I can't confirm without Twitch
oh no,
or any other platform.
I see what you guys are saying. Like, I'm physically not live on my channel, but oh, I'm an idiot. Hang on. I forgot. I set one of my last videos because whenever I upload videos, I allow members to get it first. So I put it as unlisted. It's showing my YouTube channel as unlisted. That's why.
That makes sense.
Right. How do I fix that? Can I do that in EV Mux side? Probably not.
You can do that in the YouTube studio.
I know I can. I'm just wondering if I can do it in EV Mux side, but I don't think I can. Also, thanks for letting me know, bro. I would not have known that.
I'll be honest, I just assumed that you were like, yeah, I gotta make sure that there's like some different content on this channel versus the other. So that's
No,
what I was
I
assuming.
plan to be uploading different content to that channel, but I just automatically live stream there anyway. But that explains why the YouTube numbers were quite low. Dang it. Yep, sure enough, there it is, live but unlisted.
Well, hey, at least you don't have to like download and then upload the entire thing. You
Yeah.
just should be the whole thing should be there when it's public.
It is. Well, it's now public, so it's now telling me that I'm live. So anyway, Roman's it. Thanks for that, bro.
Yeah, no worries.
Now we might see if the numbers crawl up. Like, we had decent numbers anyway, thanks to X, but I was wondering why YouTube was so low. I was like, jiggers, am I really that late? But anyway. Let me play a little bit more of this while maybe the YouTube numbers pop in. Oh look, Gabriel says, I am here. Finally on the right channel.
Yep.
So let me play this because I really do want to get to the bit where Jack starts to come in, but I think we've still a wee bit to go yet with Dean. Hang on.
This practice requires distinction and clarification. If the intention behind the slaughter is to ward off jinn, or for some other purpose whereby the homeowner believes that this slaughter will bring about such and such results, such as protection for himself or for the occupants of the house, then this is not permissible. Rather, it is an innovation. Okay, so he doesn't say that it's shirk. And if it's done, and if it is done for the jinn to win the jinn's favor, then it constitutes.
No, catch that. If it's done for the jinn, meaning you're offering sacrifice to jinn. Jinn in Islam is created being. They're made from smoke and fire. So you can see from an Orthodox Muslim point of view why Daniel does attract criticism. But like, Daniel's quoting the sources, and you will note that Daniel's correct. It doesn't condemn these types of acts as shirk.
Does he discuss quasi-Trinitarian concepts within mystical Islam at all, the Daniel guy?
On his own channel, potentially, but in this, no, he doesn't get to, because he gets Dean to walk back Dean's point, and then he drags Jake into it, which was the last thing I seen live, but that's well over an hour ago now, so...
Okay. Well, I just wanted to add a quick comment.
Hey, Tina.
There are streams of Islam, and much more rarely, sometimes, streams of Judaism, although it's not common. It's pretty rare. That kind of rebuilt, sort of rediscovers at least some variant of Godhead. Mainstream Islamic theology functionally has a binitarian Godhead in a way, because the Quran is eternal. Now, I don't think that makes them not monotheistic. I do not like the Christian argument, well, Muslims are polytheists. No, that's just a mystical belief that they have, and I think they articulate it as an emanation of God or something like that. But it's still Godhead-ish, and there are streams of it that come closer to a Godhead.
Well, it actually is, because like, I can't articulate the argument very well off the top of my head right now, but it's more than just the Quran being eternal. Like, again, not someone I would recommend necessarily publicly, but Sam Shamoun shows how that even within Islam, you can point to a trinity. Now, they would not articulate it as a trinity. Um, and I would also agree with what you said in the sense that I would not necessarily say they are polytheists, but similar to what Gabe and I were saying earlier, whenever they are disingenuous with my belief, with my religion, I will hold them to their same standard, and I will bring an argument up like that to be like, well, if you're going to use double standards, I'm going to apply that exact same standard back onto you.
Yep. So like if they were to tell me that, hey, you are a polytheist, and I go, no, I'm not. There's only one God, and they go, but you believe that there's Jesus, the Spirit, and the Father, and then I go, yeah, those are each persons.
Yep.
And they go, so you believe that there's three gods? I'll be like, okay, well then, is Allah eternal? Yes. Is the Quran eternal? Yes. Okay, you believe in two gods.
Yep. Or if
But-
you are oh, Lord forgive me if I've got the name wrong, but I think it was the Orthodox Muslim. I'll need to double check this, but the argument is correct. He messed up so badly whenever he was talking to Nick from Fearless Truth, and live on stream he admitted that, you know, the whole there's more than 99, by the way, but you know the argument that the whole 99 attributes of Allah.
Yeah.
He called them 99 ontologies of
Oh
Allah.
my goodness.
Now, for those that don't know, ontology is in reference to nature, so that would be saying there's 99 natures of Allah.
Well, we don't want
19. So ontologies. Did he mean something more mystical by that? Because like
He
that's not the word
basically
being.
he basically he messed up. He wouldn't hold to the fact that the attributes are ontologies, but this is what I mean by Dean and the Orthodox Muslim don't actually understand metaphysics, and they jumped on stream with Nick, who is, people can say whatever they want about Nick. I really like Nick. Nick is, it wouldn't he's obviously he would never claim this himself, but Nick is very well studied in metaphysics, right? But Nick tore him in like ribbons by using metaphysical arguments, and instead of the Orthodox Muslim just admitting that he didn't know what Nick was talking about, he got so flustered that he basically said Allah has 99 ontologies, which would have been him admitting that there is 99 natures of Allah. LA, welcome, bro. Good to see you. He says hello, chat. God bless, bro. We've been live for quite a while, but it's my fault. I had the main YouTube video set on unlisted, so apologies. And Gabe says, "Oh, you're replying to Tina." Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in being fair to him, he did not mean that there is actually 99 ontologies, but this is what I mean. Like if you're not an expert in an area, don't claim to be an expert, and don't try and hang with someone who is clearly more competent. Like all he had to do was say, "Look, Nick, metaphysics is your area. I would rather stay clear of that. Let's talk about whatever." Nick would have said, "Sure." But what Nick does is whenever people get into metaphysics with him, he will tear them up. Like he will completely shred them, and he shredded him on that, because like that clip's out there, and I love referring to it, because anytime someone tries to say I'm a polytheist because I believe in, you know, so-called three gods, I just show them that clip and say Allah has 99 ontologies. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I would like with that whole thing. I don't know. I usually don't like to like if so. I guess in that, I don't usually like to make jabs at people when they just slip up when speaking, because I do it all the
slipping
time.
up, yeah, slipping up, definitely not.
I do. I agree. I don't like that either. I wish people. It's gonna sound cheesy. I wish people would be nice to each other. Okay, I just wish. I wish that people would not take. Oh, did you misspeak a little bit?
Yep.
I'm going to bind you to that misspeech, even though it's not what you meant, or
Yep.
whatever. It's just.
This is what I said earlier on stream. That's why I don't like, and I said this earlier for people listening to, I even dislike when Christians do this. I don't like that rhetoric of you misspoke. I'm now going to destroy you because you misspoke. Because at the end of the day, I even listened to an interview I did recently where I misspoke and I said that Ali was the grandson of the Prophet of Muhammad, when what I meant to say was he was Muhammad's son-in-law. Now I made that correction afterwards, um, but unfortunately, it can't be edited into the interview, so it's just going to be put there as a note. But I guarantee you, you will still get Muslims that will comment, but like, "Oh, this idiot thought Ali is, the Prophet's grandson." No, I misspoke. But in Nick's defense, Nick would have let him go if it wasn't for the fact that he was being nasty in return and trying to tell Nick that he didn't understand metaphysics. So Nick was like, "Okay, Allah has 99 ontologies." But anyway, let's jump back into this so I can get to Jack coming in, because this is the part I really wanted to see.
Major shirk, because it is an act of worship directed to other than Allah. So Bin Baz is also making a distinction. He's saying that it depends on what your intention actually is. If your intention is to ward off the harm of the jinn, okay, this is an innovation. It's haram, it's an innovation, but he doesn't say it's shirk. It's only shirk if it's done for the jinn as an act of worship directed to them.
Who was
Okay,
saying?
so in that quote, so
This I couldn't agree with anymore. This is bang on. This is what I'm saying. Nick himself wouldn't say that that he's some sort of like expert level metaphysician, but does Nick know what he's talking about when it comes to philosophy and metaphysics? Absolutely. So when he starts asking you clarifying questions, and he'll even hint that you've just said something stupid by the way he said it, you best think twice about it. Also, good to see you. Says good day. Oh, that wasn't to me. I just seen apologetics and thought it was to me.
There we go.
Um,
Went all blurry there on me.
your camera did.
Yeah, it has an autofocus feature, and I think it thought my microphone was my face.
My new camera is on the way, which I'm sure chat will be glad. Because
Sweet.
The MacBook camera is decent. Like, it does 1080p, but for some reason, like when I'm down in this wee small corner, everything looks fine. But when I do this, and it won't look too bad because of the lighting, somehow it goes really grainy, and I don't know.
Yeah, on my screen you look like pixelated, like you're a old game.
Yeah.
My stream on YouTube. Oh wait, here we go. Oh.
What
I'm just checking. It does kind of look like that even on YouTube too. So
me,
yeah,
you mean?
Yeah, like the camera effect.
I'm aware of it. Hence, I invested a decent amount of money in a 4K camera. Not that I need 4K, like it does other resolutions, but heaven forbid that people see my face in 4K. Like, if it needs to go to that, at least it'll no longer look pixelated. So
there you go.
because we have got a lot of content planned for this channel. This is what I was telling people recently. This is an impromptu live stream just because this was way too good to ignore. Like, these guys are tearing each other apart, and we're not even midway through January, so I couldn't miss it. But we have so much content planned for this channel, and I don't want people to be put off by the fact that they're looking at a really grainy screen. So, LA says Nick's philosophy skills are hard to beat. Yeah, he's good. Like, I'd be perfectly honest. I agree with Nick on a lot. I would not want to go up against Nick in any sort of like philosophy debate. I would be cooked. So,
yeah.
Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. We're just reacting to Muslims taking lumps out of each other.
But Daniel, in that quote, is it saying that you can give it in the name of the jinn? I didn't hear that from the quote.
Yeah, he didn't mention any of those details.
Come on, brother. Come on. That's what you need to defend, though. That's what you need to defend.
But why does it matter? Like, if that's the key
because you said you can sacrifice in the name of other than Allah.
You're claiming that this is a key distinction. That if it's in the name of the jinn or in the name of Allah or whatever, that's your distinction that you just made up right now. But Bin Baz doesn't bring up that distinction. You know more than Bin Baz?
No.
Oh,
I don't know more than Ibn Baz. I don't know more than Ibn Baz.
That's what I didn't mention.
Right. Now listen to that. That's where I don't care what you think about Daniel. I certainly, there's lots of things, I even said it earlier in the stream, even though it turns out we weren't fully live. Daniel has got a lot of things wrong with him, like his beliefs. I mean, So this is not me praising him, but the one thing I will say about Daniel is he knows his sources very well. And he did exactly what Christians also do to Muslims. Put them against their own scholars and say, do you know more than this scholar? What are they going to be quick to say? No, I don't know more than this scholar. But what has Dean said since the very beginning of this discussion? I haven't read the sources. I haven't studied this. I don't know what that's in reference to. Well then, Dean, why are you up here?
But
Yep.
when you're
His fatwa didn't
when I'm
mention it
asking you that
in the name
distinction,
of Jin or in the name of whoever, in the name of Bob, in the name of
Daniel,
Ahmed. His fatwa didn't mention
Daniel,
that, did it?
let me respond. I don't want any muting going on. So here, the point is that you agreed despite me making that distinction, you agreed that that distinction doesn't do anything to the topic, but I don't agree. Now the distinction that we made, which is in terms of in the name of or not in the name of, you agreed that you can sacrifice in the name of jinn, and that's not
Where did I say
necessarily
that?
shirk.
Where did I say that?
And again, this is the key point. All right, sorry, I misread a comment there. I thought someone was commenting on what I said about Daniel earlier. So, oh, sorry. This is not. This is. Is this? No, this is to someone else, isn't it? Do you remember Logic gave Layman apologies? Shout out and told people to sub. He's a great brother. Hopefully, he will mod you because. Yes, yes. If you do want to be a mod, absolutely, I can make you a mod. I do need a few more. We do plan to be live a lot more this year. We've got a lot of good topics coming up. Yeah, bro. If you recommend her, I'm happy to do that. I'm going to try and plan out a few different live streams this year because I don't want to go live when some of the bigger guys are live because obviously we're not going to gain any audience at all. And not that it's all about audience, but like if you're streaming to yourself, there's really no point streaming. So we'll try and get a few things lined out. But Gabe, we've got a couple of call-in shows planned, which we still need to talk about.
Indeed.
But yeah. Anyway, let me jump through some more of this because I keep saying it. But Jake's about to come in shortly. It's been like over an hour since I've seen this live, so bear with us.
That?
You said that's not
Where?
necessarily shirk, didn't you say that?
Where? No, I said slaughtering for jinn, according to some scholars, is not necessarily shirk.
But what does it mean?
No, Daniel, I asked you
in the name
Daniel.
of the jinn. This is something that you made up.
Daniel, I asked you, can you sacrifice in the name of other than Allah without it being shirk? And you said yes, that's possible. It depends on your intention. Did you not say that?
I did not say that.
You did, bro.
I said
Oh
that
my days. Come on.
sacrificing for other than Allah, like sacrificing for a king, for guests, aqiqah for your newborn, sacrificing
In the
them.
name of Allah, that's fine. Yes, I agree.
Okay, so then I asked you about in the name of Allah for jinn, and you said that. What? You said,
yeah,
okay.
That's not necessarily shirk. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, then that's the same thing.
Do you notice that Daniel just got Dean to walk back everything he was saying? So Dean started off strong, and then he, as Daniel said, he slowly downgraded his judgment. So it went from your kufr to perhaps it's permissible to okay, maybe some scholars admit that to okay, yeah, fine. If it's in the name of Allah, you can sacrifice to a jinn. Think about that. You can sacrifice to a jinn if it's in the name of Allah.
Why would they? What's the motivation for I know some Muslims have a goat sacrifice once per year or whatever, but why are they doing this? This is really bizarre. I just want to know where it's coming from.
Well, you see, this is part of the debate, and this is what Gabe and I were saying earlier about there being so many different schools within Islam. So, whenever Islam lies to Christians, and not just Christians, but it's primarily to Christians, whenever they lie and say, the Ummah is one, we don't really have disagreements, they do. And this is why Daniel was takfired, because Daniel said, which he's quoting now from their own scholars who say the same thing, that while it's not necessarily permissible to sacrifice to jinn or whatever, it's nowhere condemned as shirk, right? But as to why they sacrifice the goats and stuff, because to be quite honest, and this is just the honest argument, is they will claim that Christianity has pagan roots, but this would be paganism within Islam, because what they'll try and point back to is the continuity of the Abrahamic religion and say, oh well, there was animal sacrifices, but there's no such thing as any sort of animal sacrifice within Islam. So like there's no setup, of animals being sacrificed for sin or anything like that.
And as to why they're going about like actually doing the animal sacrifices, from I haven't looked specifically into that too much, but from what I have kind of seen is some of it seems to be more akin to something like a blessing or an appeasement, right? Like so when they buy a new house, they might
Exactly,
sacrifice.
and Daniel named that too. Daniel said, for example, because this is where he sorry
Or
folks if that
he,
was
I
just
thought he
really
used
loud.
the one with the child.
Yeah, so a child being born, Daniel also said, could you sacrifice an animal towards a king in honor or whatever? Note that Daniel is not quoting imams from his own school. He is quoting imams from Sunni Islam, right? So Daniel's been really clever. He is holding their own scholars up against them and being like, "Do you know more than Ibn Abbas? What does Dean have to say?" No, I don't.
Hmm.
Really good comment here, by the way. Great
Yeah,
news,
I
guys.
chuckled
What
at
I'm
that one too.
advocating is not necessarily shirk. You're right, brother. This is what we said earlier to you. It would be like me saying to Gabe, it's not necessarily heresy, but
A little
Ellie
heresy.
says I mod with them both at several channels. Yes, brother, I've seen you as a mod in a few channels. I appreciate you, and I thank you for sending folk over here. We're live at a really weird time, so
Hey,
we'll
they're
try.
still alive, I think.
They're still live, but I'm going to end shortly because it's nearly 4 a.m. here.
Dude,
But
they're still going. This is almost a 6-hour stream on their end, man.
this is what I mean. I may end up having to eat my words, and I will be humble and I will eat my words on this, but because Jack is a different breed. Jack doesn't really necessarily bow down to peer pressure very easily. So earlier in his own stream, I don't know what it's like now because I'm not live over there right now, but um, Elise says she's happy to help. Fair enough, Elise. I'll pop over in a minute and make you a mod. But Jack had Muslims because he turned subscriber only mode on. He had his own fans in there being like, dude, shut this down. This is bad for the Ummah. Like the Christians are doing live streams, mocking us and stuff. And here's the thing. Yes, we've had a few laughs here, but I'm not necessarily mocking them. I just want to point out the hypocrisy. They will lie and come on Christian live streams and say we don't have different schools of thought in Islam. We're one ummah. No, you're not. You're divided, and there's so many micro fractures in Islam that it's ridiculous. That's why whenever I tell people, whenever someone asks me, how do I witness to a Muslim, there's only two real things that you need to worry about. Is this person Sunni or is this person Shia? Right? Because the likelihood is you're probably going to be dealing with one of them, and the likelihood is it's going to be majorly Sunni. It's very rare that you're dealing, with the Salafi or the Wahhabi or whatever. If you're just looking to debate Muslims and defend your religion, I wouldn't say you need to go into all the details. Like you can if you want, but this is just ridiculous in the fact that they try and tell people, that we're not divided or whatever. Logical truths. Oh no, you proved a 1600-year-old with 2 billion followers false. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, this
That's then how
Daniel, if my memory serves right, Daniel leaves here for a second. I don't know whether Jack kicks him or he goes to get a source, but I think he removes him. I'm not sure. We'll soon see.
and I asked you then why did you assume that I don't have that same position? And
Because
you just say I'm a punk for
because
that.
you just showed everyone on the live that's your position. Because you said it's not necessarily shirk if you sacrifice in the name of other than Allah. You said that.
I never said okay. If I
Okay,
said that,
if-
if I-
okay,
if I
okay,
said
if-
that- okay, if
yeah,
I
go
said
on.
that here, I'm clarifying it now for you because
Okay.
there seems to be a problem with interpreting my own words. So maybe
Well,
I
you said it,
maybe
Daniel.
I
We can
misspoke.
replay it.
We can replay. Maybe I misspoke. Let me just
Okay.
clarify. Okay.
All right.
I never said that it is okay in the name of Jinn to sacrifice for them, and that's not shirk. I never
In the
said
name of anyone. In the name of anyone, it's not okay,
in the
except
name
for
of
Allah.
in the name of anyone. I never said. I didn't say anything about that.
And again, to be fair to him, he didn't.
Okay. If I did, if I made a mistake or I misspoke, okay, now I'm clarifying that for you.
Okay.
Okay, but my
So
overall point,
then
my
we're on the
overall
same page
point-
then.
My
Okay.
overall point. Okay, so then you retract saying that I'm upon kufr for that.
If that now what you're saying, if that's what you intended, then yeah, I retract that you're upon kufr on that statement. Yes, I retract that. If that's what you intended and that's what you've now.
So notice this. He has got Dean to walk back absolutely every statement Dean made from the beginning. That's
Mhm.
embarrassing. That shows you that what people say about Dean and Orthodox Muslim is true. They don't actually do their research. They jump on bandwagons with people like Sheikh Uthman and Fareed and Adnan Rashid. And if Adnan Rashid says jump, people like this say not only how high, but they'll let in 10 jumping jacks in their jump. That's how they operate. Daniel came up. Fair play to him because he's on hostile ground. And by the way, Jack and Dean also had beef before this. They still do. So you're going to see them go back and forth in a bit as well. Like these guys are not united. Like 2025 was a bad year for the Dawa gang. 2026 is off to a banging start because like we're not even full way through January and these guys are tearing each other apart.
Oh man, I've got so much stuff for the Muslims. I'll show you some of it later. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Muslims really like stretching that 1.3 billion to 2 billion every time. So statistically speaking, Islam, like imams here in the UK, are crying about the sea of apostasy by the flood of people that are leaving Islam. Islam is only the fastest growing religion purely because of birth numbers. And it's only purely because, according to Muslim logic, everyone who is born is a Muslim. So it's just stupid. Like it really is stupid. So whenever a Muslim says, that they're the fastest growing religion in the world, guess what? They're lying. Logical Truth says we are still standing. Amen, amen. What else have we got here? Notice how Logical Truth includes Shia and Ahmadis when bragging about how many Muslims there are. It's an avalanche. Yeah, it really is an avalanche. Like the UK statistics alone, I was looking at them the other day. In 2024, it was something like 20 something percent. In 2025, it was up to 28% of people leaving in the UK. 2026, I would say it's going to be bad. And again, folks, if you're new to having interactions with Muslims and you want to know how to do it, just learn the Islamic dilemma. It is so simple, but so effective. And by the way, at least this is bang on. At least half are secret apostates. Yes, there's a lot of people that are not truly Muslim any longer. They just fear to tell their parents or they fear to tell their family that they've already left, but they have. Logical truths, and you include Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Maronites, Orthodox, Protestants, and Unitarians in Christianity. I think there's a mini debate going on here in the chat that I know nothing about, so let's get back.
Yeah.
Now believe based on your clarification, yes. So, but that's on that point. Another concerning point was Wilayat Takwiniya that I saw. Now,
Do
you believe?
Jake?
Do you,
What is
Yeah.
Jake even here? Like Jake, what do you
That's
think?
fine.
Is that
Jake-
Now, I know I have paused a lot, but Gabe, how long would you say Daniel and Dean have been going back and forth without all my pausing? Like at least 20 minutes?
If not more.
Yeah, it probably seems like more because of my pausing, but I think just looking by the time, it's like 20 minutes. It's only now that they drag Jack in, and Daniel's like, okay, I've cooked Dean, let me start on Jack. But watch Jack's demeanor. Jack is not as soft as Dean. Because again, say what you want about Dean, and I think he's incredibly deceptive in a lot of ways, and he uses internet debate tactics, which I'm just not a fan of. Jack is a lot more brutal, so watch this.
Jake
As I
trusts
start to speak, you keep talking over me.
Yeah, let Jake.
Jake,
speak.
it's
I wanna
it's
hear
okay,
his-
Daniel. Jake trusts me to engage with you here.
Oh, I don't think he trusts you at all. Actually, he graded you
Okay.
as an F, bro. He doesn't trust you
As
at
an
all.
F.
Yeah,
Now, for those that don't know, Jack did He did it for Christians as well. He graded apologists for Christians and da'i for the Muslims. He graded Dean an F. But notice now, Dean is trying to win Jack over here because they just had beef before this, before Daniel came on. Notice what Dean says on Jack's own show. Jack trusts me to have this conversation with you. Daniel rightly cooks him straight back, and he's like, "No, he doesn't. Like, you don't try and tell me that you two are on the same page. You're not."
Or was
guys
it
are
a D? I don't remember. Like these rankings change.
It's okay.
day by day.
Inshallah, Jake
Okay,
can
depending on how
Jake can
feel.
rank me
So
a
are you a
Z.
D or-
I
is he a
don't
D or an
care.
F, Jake?
It's okay.
Do you trust him to represent you?
It's Daniel.
Not
He's
representing me. He's representing himself. You came on here to speak to him when he was
No,
talking
I
about
came here to
you.
speak to both of
It's
you.
okay. It's okay. Here,
So
Daniel.
I want to know what you would think about slaughtering to the jinn.
Yeah, like I told you.
I
from the
think that
beginning,
you, as usual, are one of the most deceptive people I ever met. That you
Oh my
with your words, that you
Oh, straight in.
Oh
Straight
my
in.
goodness. Wow.
Yeah, straight in. There's
All right.
more to come. But
All right.
notice how Jack doesn't even play around with, because Daniel's like, "What do you think about sacrificing to the jinn?" And Jack's just straight into, "I think you're one of the most deceptive people I've ever met in my life." This is what I'm saying. This is the state of Dawa already. You've got guys, and again, they obviously call it takfiring, so separating out because this guy's an apostate or whatever. This would be the equivalent to a Christian anathematizing another Christian and saying that dude's not a Christian, stay clear, right?
Mm.
You've got multiple of these statements already in January, with multiple guys being takfired and say stay away from. Then you've got Malik's now on a doxing campaign because he doxed so many Muslims. Sorry, not doxed them. He technically exposed their sins, their not so private lives. But because he exposed them, he's now trying to make up for it by trying to dox Christians. This is the state of the Dawa scene already. Like this is ridiculous. And then
Speaking
you've
of-
got, I don't know whether it's other Muslims or whatever, but you're going to see a fake God logic and stuff come up now as well. They don't keep them on, but
Well,
try to word things in an ambiguous way to confuse people, when in reality, what you read from Bimbaz has nothing to do with slaughtering for other than Allah or to other than Allah. You tried to bring up the quote, but it doesn't actually match what you said. And when Dean called you out on that and demonstrated the distinction, you just collapsed back into our position.
Yeah.
Your
Okay,
position
that's fine.
is that. So why is Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab a shirk apologist then? For his
I never
statement
said
that
that.
Fareed quoted.
Why did I say that?
Okay, so
Okay,
you disagree with Fareed then.
I don't
disagree.
believe that text is authentic.
So you disagree. Let's assume that's
Gabe,
I
obviously Romans 8, you're in here too, bro. Feel free to speak up. How many times in your conversations with Muslims have you heard the phrase, "I don't think that's authentic"?
a lot actually.
Yeah.
Like when in regards to like if you put a Sahih hadith to them, they will go, that's not authentic. I'm like,
They will throw
Do you
their
not
own
know?
scholars under the bus whenever their feet are held to the fire. They will throw them under the bus. They do this all the time. But then at the same time, if you were to ask them and say, "Okay, so do you know more than, say Ibn Abbas or whatever?" The response is, "Oh, no, we don't."
They should be courageous and say, yes, we do. I literally will say that. I literally will say that, yeah, I think that the vast majority of scholars or theologians, I will openly say that. If I'm saying, if I have an opinion. Like, these guys, like, I don't know, I don't want to be mean here, but I'm going to be mean. By
Also,
accident.
just while you're talking, Zach, stop commenting and come up.
I couldn't. What'd you say?
Sorry, I was just
Zach's in the chat.
talk you on. I was just telling Zach to stop commenting and come up on stream.
What I've noticed is that what Roman Catholic apologists do, they do something similar. They throw their own scholars under the bus. Or they don't really throw them on the bus, they sort of ignore them. Because there is a whole body of academic literature by Roman Catholics that pretty much admits a lot of the things that they believe minimally cannot be proven to be first century and are probably developments.
Then get out of
They
bed.
have their nuanced, justifications for this, and that's it's not fine, but they, from their perspective, it's fine. But these guys who are sort of like, I don't want to say like fundamentalist Catholics, because it's not quite the same thing, but there's so sort of like Catholic Answers does not say the same thing that a lot of Catholic scholars will say. Like Raymond Brown,
Oh yeah.
I actually like Raymond Brown, even though he was a Jesuit Catholic. He's written very interesting books on the Gospels and commentaries and things like this. And he straight up said basically the type of exegesis and interpretation used in Vatican II would have been not tolerated only like 40 years earlier. What really happened with Vatican II was that the Roman Catholic Church was trying to take the church in a different direction while preserving the past as much as possible and as quietly as possible, while maintaining sort of some continuity, but they were breaking with the past. And Catholic apologists will often not admit there is a break with the past there, but Raymond Brown would, and said, in fact, the very logic of the mid 20th century would have been totally not tolerated before then.
Mhm. Logical truths. If you can't even articulate how a Christian would talk about the Trinity, I'm not even going to address your question. Very simple. I don't deal with that type of stuff over here. It's a disingenuous question because either you don't know what you're talking about or you're being intentionally dishonest. I'm not going to address that unless you show me that you can articulate what the Trinity actually teaches. Zach says, look up the hypostatic union. Yeah, well, anyway, we're not turning this into a Q&A with Christian back and forth, especially whenever
Yeah, we'll just let the Muslims keep tearing themselves apart.
yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to come on here and be like, is the human Jesus now part of Trinity? You're just showing that either you don't know what you talk about or you're being intentionally dishonest. Either way, I'm not going to engage that.
Authentic. It doesn't matter. Like that position, Farid says that that's shirk apology. Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahab saying
There are
sacrificing.
many scholars who actually critique that and say that the text itself is not authentic.
That wasn't Farid's critique. Farid
Well,
called
I don't
Sulaiman
care.
ibn
Farid's
Abdul
not
Wahab
here.
a
I don't
shirk
care.
Yeah,
apologist.
that's fine. That's fine. Daniel, I want
No,
my question answered on light
I'm talking to Jake
Equinia.
here. I'm talking to Jake, Dean. Can you just
Farid is not here. We're not here to defend.
Now, Daniel is legit bodying Dean. Like, he is treating Dean like a little boy. Like, he got Dean to walk back everything Dean said, and now that Daniel's dealing with Jack, notice what Dean's trying to do. Dean's trying to hop back in because he thinks Jack's on his side.
Yeah.
Yes, Muslim battle indeed, my friend. These guys have been tearing the lumps out of each other. I apologize, I'm pausing a lot, but they're, according to Gabe, they're still live, and it's well over a 6-hour stream at this stage. So feel free to check that out if you want to. I don't see it being up for long.
They're still going.
Yeah. The one Jesus loved, the hypostatic union, is described in Colossians 2:9. Yeah, look, all of this Christian theology is ultimately derived from Scripture. But whenever you've got people like Logical Truths here, what they want to do is they want you to engage on something which is basically the verbatim fallacy. Show me where it's said in these exact same words, otherwise I can't believe it. Right? It's a verbatim fallacy. I don't engage with people that are not genuine. This is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
if
moving the goalpost.
if this is the standard of logical truth argumentation, I wouldn't even engage in a regular conversation with this person because they're not being genuine. Like, look at this. Look at this. And that was Jesus' own words describing it. This
Which
is
was a moving of the goalpost too.
it's just it's ridiculous because at the end of the day, no matter what way, like, I don't even know what this person's position is, and I'm not even going to ask because, to be quite frank, I don't really care. But This is stupid because whenever it comes to something like the verbatim fallacy, they're not even consistent with themselves. Because if you were to flip that back on them, whatever their position is, and say, show me wherever this, and this is, they'll very quickly say, oh no, it doesn't have to show you in those exact same words. Why? Because it's a standard for thee and not for me. So anyway, folks, don't allow him to distract you. He's just there to come up with silly, bad argumentation.
And for
He's
me,
your
Yeah.
friend. Yeah, you're signing letters with him.
But
and
Daniel,
you're
Daniel, you
retweeting
said
his
we could
videos.
discuss Wilayat Queenia.
You're sharing.
You,
You're sharing his
Daniel.
videos, Jake. Why
Daniel,
can't
Daniel,
you?
Daniel, you said
explain
we
to me
can
why
discuss Wilayat
Sulaiman ibn
Queenia, so let's do it.
Wahab- Why Sulaiman
Daniel.
ibn Abdul Wahab is a shirk apologist?
Daniel,
Explain
you
that.
said you said we can talk about Wilayat Queenia, so let's get to
Chill,
that.
bro. We'll get to it.
I want to
bro.
speak to. We spoke to you on your.
Now, notice what Dean's doing again. Dean is doing what I said he has done from the beginning. He is doing the typical internet debate thing where it's like, no, we'll talk about my topic because I say we'll talk about my topic. No, Daniel schooled you. I don't agree with Daniel, by the way, but he did school Dean. Like, he got him to walk back everything. Everything he said, Dean walked back. Daniel then moves on to Jake. Dean wants to win brownie points with Jake. So Dean now is trying to reinsert him again. And Daniel, time and time again, is spanking Dean. He is showing him, you're a little boy in this conversation. Sit down.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I've already shown my cards here. Just from a third party standard, has really no dog in the fight here.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel's winning this. I don't see a future where
confidently.
he's going to lose this. Like, I spent the first, and now it's on the unlisted part of the stream. But anyone who wants to see it, you can go and scrub back to the earlier parts. But spent the whole first time when I was here just basically railing against their entire group, except for Daniel. Daniel's like the only one that's not in that group. And I was just railing against their group, pointing out that they don't even live out a Islamic life, right? Many of these guys are saying they're Muslim, and then they go around having a whole bunch of, things, and I mean, we see a lot of that out of Malik too. I don't want to re-describe all of it because that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. As I say, chat, don't get too distracted by someone who you know is not asking genuine questions. You could present to them all the evidence in the world, and unless it's in verbatim words, they'll not accept it. So learn where to apply your scripture, Christians. When Jesus says, do not cast your pearls among swine, learn what that proverb means.
I spoke to you on your topic, but you don't want to speak on mine.
You got a D. Dude, you got a D. You went from
he got a B, Daniel. Daniel, he got a B. Come on, be fair, Daniel.
I got a B. I got a B, Daniel.
You against me so that you can't move to the topic.
Yeah, it's fine. So Daniel, is it shirk for someone to say that someone
Jake,
can bear all of the control of the atoms in the universe?
Are you gonna let him dog walk you? Are you gonna let him just take over your show?
He's not dog walking me.
Now, again, not that I necessarily agree with this, because I've spent most of the stream saying I hate these type of tactics, especially like in internet debates. But notice what Daniel's doing here. Daniel is being very effective in getting under not just Dean's skin, but Jack's skin. So yes, Christ is King. Amen. 1,000 amens. Daniel now is being like he is getting under Jack's skin. He is appealing to Jack's ego, and he's like, "Are you gonna let Dean dog walk you on your own live stream?" Because Jack just replied a moment ago and said, "Dean, he's trying to separate us." Now, remember, for folks that haven't seen this already, Jack and Dean were already battling each other before Daniel came up, because Jack put out a statement today where he basically said he's disassociating from people like Dean Responds and Orthodox Muslim and stuff. So these two were happily fighting each other. Daniel comes on and he basically dominates both of them in this position. And now these guys are trying to be like, hey, look, let's put our differences aside here. Daniel's trying to divide us. You already are divided. That's what Daniel's pointing out.
You
Like,
challenged
you can't
him,
stand up
and
for
now
yourself,
he's
Jake. Like, you have
responding
to have
to
Dean
you.
talk for you.
Responding to you, and now when he wants to pivot to what you said you were willing to discuss with him, you
We're
don't want to
still
do
on
it.
the Jin. We're still on the Jin slaughter issue. Okay, I
Yeah,
want
I
to know
already
your
responded.
I thought we just
finished
agreed,
that point.
Daniel. But Daniel, I thought we just agreed on it. Me and you agreed on it, so we can move on.
Yeah, you,
But Daniel, we agreed. Come on, Daniel. Daniel, please don't make me walk it back any further, Daniel. Please. Please.
Yeah,
I've already been disassociated, Daniel. Please, come on. Where'd I go here?
Here, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink and maybe
work
something
away.
to munch on real quick. Be
Yep.
right back.
changed
with
your
regard- so with
position,
regards
and
to
you
Wale-
admitted you changed
I
your
changed my
position, you
position.
admitted that you're wrong and that you made a wrong statement about me. Yeah, you just did that. I want to get Jake on record now.
This is what I mean by like you want to talk about like someone like spanking someone. Daniel is dominating Dean here.
What? I'm hearing some colorful words being used.
Well, we haven't even got into the Elzut yet, but praise the Lord, my friend. Ex-Muslim, Jesus is my savior. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Christ is King. Praise the Lord. Guys, as I say, don't feed the trolls. Come on now. We don't mind genuine questions in here, but whenever someone's not using, like, just don't feed the trolls. Anyway, let's get back to this very public spanking.
No, I never said.
You put his cards on the table because he
Daniel,
signed
I'm
the
making
statement. Okay,
Daniel,
you were
I'm gonna
too
make it
scared
clear.
to sign the
You're
statement,
misrepresenting what I said.
Dean, look,
On
Dean,
the apparent.
Jake
No,
says-
Daniel,
Jake says that you're too
Daniel,
scared to sign the statement.
Daniel, you're gonna
Jake signed
let
the
me.
statement saying that slaughtering.
No, that is a fair point. Jake did call Dean out on this, and he did say to Dean in the previous half of the stream, so all back here, Jake called Dean out and said he was too scared to sign this statement. This is what I mean by Daniel is like he is more than holding his own in this.
To Jin, Daniel is saying slaughtering to Jin is allowed, and that's shirk. Okay, we can bring up the statement, right? Jake is the one who wrote the statement. He's the one who distributed. He's the one who signed it.
Daniel,
okay, so I'm asking Jake
we agreed that sacrificing in the name of other than Allah is.
So anybody that doesn't know what this about, there was a statement put out by a guy called Adnan Rashid. Now Adnan is one of the heavies in the Dawa scene, and he's very popular over here in the UK with Muslims, obviously. He is the one that put out this statement, and apparently a lot of the guys that signed only signed because Adnan put the statement out. So I don't know who this is in reference to, so I don't know whether that's in reference to one of the guys on the panel or whatever, but who knows? Who knows?
Sure, if we both agree on that, we can move on then.
That's not what the statement said. That's not what the statement that Jake put out said. Here, look.
Yeah.
This is the accusation. Let me get it to read it verbatim for you. This
he
is
has
the statement.
also downplayed other polytheistic practices, such as offering sacrifices to jinn.
Yeah, exactly. He has also downplayed.
Do you believe that that's shirk?
So Dean responds right now, said that in some cases it's not polytheism to sacrifice to jinn.
Offering. I'm asking
no, dude. Oh my God. No. Wait. No. Wait, Jake. One sec. I can clarify what I said. Bird, you can't leave it ambiguous when you say, yeah, Dean's okay with sacrificing to other than Allah. What I said was, you can sacrifice to Allah for someone. That's what I said. Please just say it the way I said it.
Okay, so the statement on which you said that you privately agreed with, but publicly you didn't want to sign, it says Daniel has downplayed other polytheistic practices.
I don't think that's Libyan or Jake. I don't think that's Libyan.
Not him. I'll remove him then.
Yeah, just remove him.
Okay, I was about to say.
There's also did you not see the pose in that? It was AI because Orthodox Muslim gets called Orthodox lips.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really emphasize that there.
May not have played part may not have played part in that a little bit, but
Oh dear.
but no, hey, he's the one that does the duck lip thing for
He
his
does. He
profile
does.
photos.
Yeah, it's a to teach Gabe his new favorite word. It's a little bit zesty.
It's a little bit zesty indeed, but hey, you know what? It's not out of bounds for the Islamic practice.
It's only a little bit shirk.
It's only a little bit sure.
Imagine uttering that phrase in Christianity. It's only a little bit of heresy. It's only a
Yeah.
little bit. It's not major heresy. It's
Man,
only a
I
little
should put
heresy.
that on a T-shirt. It's only a little bit of shirk. It's only a
you
little bit of shirk. Only a little shirk.
I saw a really funny tweet, and it's just of a now suspended account on Twitter many months ago,
Okay.
of this Muslim guy who was convinced that Oliver Cromwell went to heaven because he I don't know, probably because his impression of Cromwell is like the movie Cromwell, and thought he was destroying idols. So he was like, well, he's like a Trinitarian Muslim. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, he's probably one of those. He's probably one of those.
It was very
original-
goofy.
I mean, I haven't personally, but I've seen like videos where guys have been talking to Muslims, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I think you can affirm the Trinity and be a Muslim." I'm sitting there like, but like your entire your literal Allah literally says, "Say not Trinity," and then clarifies what Allah means by Trinity, which includes Mary apparently.
Yeah, I think they're getting into these semantics because it actually says "say not three," but of course that does mean the Trinity. So I mean, linguistically, it doesn't use the word Trinity, but
I've read a translation that used Trinity, but probably just three in Arabic.
It clarifies what it is in a way, because it does say Allah,
Jesus was just
Mary.
a prophet.
Yeah, and then what they'll appeal to is they'll say that this was dealing with a very specific group that thought that Mary was part of the Trinity, but no.
Well, there is such the group that is referenced by Epiphanes around 370 something AD. There does seem to have been such a group, but if that is all the Quran is attacking, then Muslims have no reason to have a problem with the Trinity. If that is the case.
Yeah, but
but they still do.
Yeah, it's because it's not actually the case. They're not actually appealing to some outlier group. That's later Islamic scholarship. That is not actually the case. That is what the author of the Quran thought, that the Trinity was Allah, Jesus, and Mary. So, JPP, you said that Jesus is your savior earlier. I do not know who you're referring to, whether you're referring to one of the guys on the panel. But yeah. Houston says the first actually says sign out 3. Yep, in the Arabic. And that's a different Arabic word for the Trinity. Yep. And then true, the Quran only rejects tritheism, including Mary. Yeah. Yep. And again, even I have an interesting video coming out. I don't know when it'll be out, because the editing's taking a little bit of time, but it's with an Arabic speaking Christian, and he points out that even the word tawheed in Arabic can mean unity, right? Or something being unified. So what in Allah is being unified? Not expecting an actual answer, by the way.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
it's he makes some interesting points. So whenever that video is ready, you'll see it. But anyway, folks, I am going to play for a little bit longer. This stream seems like it's going on forever, and it's almost 4:30 in the morning my time, so I won't be on too much longer.
Still going.
Oh,
it's
bro.
Still
the reason why it's still going is Jack. I don't know what's going on with Jack at the moment, but Jack is burning bridges left, right, and center. So, yep, there we go. Google Translate has the correct translation. Tawheed equals unification. Yeah, because even from its word, and I can't remember the root word off the top of my head right now, but it really does come from the phrase to unify something, to make something whole. And one of the points that this guy makes, I can't name his name, obviously, for safety reasons, but he points out that even when it talks about the caliphate, the whole world being, united under Islamic rule, the word tawheed is also used there as well, because it's to do with unity and unifying things. And again, this is where whenever Muslims say things like, oh, show me verbatim that, Jesus says, I am God, bow down and worship me. Show me the word tawheed in your Quran. Now, I don't want a word that means one. I don't want something that signifies, oneness. I want the word tawheed verbatim. Give me that. You're going to be looking for a while.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think you'll find that.
You won't. That's
There's-
the point. Because this is where people will be very quick, Muslims especially, they'll be very, very quick to be like, oh, that's a verbatim fallacy. Oh, you mean like whenever you said, show me Jesus is God, and where he says, bow down and worship me? Yeah. You mean like that? Yeah. This is the thing. The scripture is an ancient Near Eastern book. It's not speaking the way that we would speak today. It is not speaking about, modern ways that we would like it to sound, where Jesus is, standing on a mountain where he says, I am God in the flesh, bow down and worship me. Doesn't speak like that. But Jesus speaks in such a clear manner that the Muslims, the Jews do what? They pick up stones to stone him because they say he is blaspheming by making himself one with God. Jesus' own enemies understood exactly what he was saying. His companions understood what he was saying. And this is why there's a video on my channel which I have titled the prophetic veracity dilemma. And it's another version of the Islamic dilemma, right?
Mhm.
Islam cannot claim Jesus as a prophet. And do you know why? Because either Jesus taught his message clearly, in which the Quran contradicts things about Jesus, and his followers got it right, knowing that he was God. His enemies got it right, which is why they sought to kill him. Or Jesus was such a bad prophet that he spoke very unclearly, to the point where his companions and his enemies misunderstood him and tried to put him to death for something that he wasn't actually teaching. You can't say that about a prophet in Islam. So it would mean you would have to reject Islam. And then, to make it even tighter again, you would then also have to say that for 600 years, he left it to a point where he allowed the worship of Jesus to dominate world history before he decides to correct it.
Yep.
Either way you slice it, it can't hold up. Welcome, my friend. He says, Jake the Snake. Yes,
Yep.
a lot of people do call him that, indeed. Oh, that's just Gabe.
Yep.
And
All right.
Justin's having a lovely wee debate back in the comments. So anyway, let me play a couple
Hey,
of final bits before I have to log off.
That's what the comments are for,
Yeah, exactly. You guys debate away, but at the same time, don't waste your efforts on someone that's not actually asking genuine questions.
Mhm.
He has
Yeah,
also
we got a bunch of
downplayed.
fakers here. I don't know if Dan is sending these people. He's got the electronic flies.
You think all your haters are now Daniel followers now, bro? You
Now, again, this is a very weak argument, even from Jack, because Jack's receiving haters in the chat. That means that they're Daniel fans, right?
Of course,
Now,
yes.
are some probably going to be Daniel fans? Yes. Are there going to be people that just don't like Jack? Yeah, sure. Don't try and dismiss his Daniel followers. But while you were gone, I was saying the Romans 8 there, like Daniel is absolutely like dominating both of these guys. And
Mhm.
again, not in the Alsuit sense.
Yes, not in the
like-
opposite sense.
No, definitely not.
You've
Okay.
made everyone your hater now, basically. So good job.
I know.
Here, this is the statement. He has also downplayed. Daniel has also downplayed other polytheistic practices, such as offering sacrifices to jinn.
Yeah.
Nowhere does
Believe
that
that
say
shit?
in the name of jinn.
Do you believe it's shirk?
Me, I just explained it to you. It depends. It depends.
So if somebody is
according to scholars, it depends. According to Suleiman ibn Abdul Wahhab, it
Okay,
depends.
Daniel, how about you bring up your
depends. According to Nawawi, it depends.
Daniel,
it depends.
All right, Daniel.
It depends.
All right, Daniel, I agree with you that it depends on if you're
Debate over then. If you agree, debate over then. JPP again. He says, "Islam liar, leave Islam. Don't be late." There's no Muslims here, my friend. If you're referring to the 4 guys on stream, yeah, absolutely, they should leave Islam and come to Christ. I agree. Oh no, sorry folks, hang on.
I was about to say, I'm like, I just got a gray screen.
I accidentally X'd off the stream. Oh dear.
I think I'm gonna. I like how he titles his stream "The Downfall of the Dawa Scene."
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing, is what that means. So
that's what I say.
Hold up, you know how they call him Jake the Snake? He might very well be a Mossad agent.
Yeah, we see.
It was Israel the whole time.
Oh my goodness! So like, I'm probably going to struggle to find this again, but I've just noticed Daniel was off the live stream a while ago, and now he's back on discussing.
Oh yeah, he's talking with him right now. They're still going. Man, I wish I paid attention to what time you were at when you closed it.
Well, it doesn't really matter because, like, in a lot of this, Daniel has like dog walked him anyway. So let me just go ahead and jump to the actual live and see where they're at now because I'm going to be wrapping up soon anyway. But either way, this was more just to show like how badly Islam, like Dawa, is doing already. Like we are not even in the end of January, and these guys are takfiring each other. They're disassociating from one another. Like, this is going to be a bad year for them. That's all I can say.
Yep. I got some cool stuff coming out with that too.
We do. Yeah. You've got cool stuff. I've got cool stuff. We've all got cool stuff.
Yep. Just be ready for it. Muslims aren't ready for this.
Prostrating for respect to that.
Yep.
You can say that this is an act of shirk because this is what those religions are doing. Like you're participating in an act of shirk.
And are their intentions relevant?
Huh?
Are their intentions relevant?
Are they still on the same exact thing?
Committed shirk akbar. Yes.
Well,
yes, that is.
The same exact thing.
To know what
4 hours later in the stream.
Yeah. So I'm just going to
like. You're probably at like the 45-minute, 50-minute mark. So
yeah,
like 5 hours later in the stream, they're still at the same thing.
Probably a slightly different topic relating to it, but yeah, they're still on shirk because ultimately this is why Daniel got takfired by all these guys because they believe that Daniel thinks that you can give partnership and praise to other beings other than Allah. So Daniel obviously denies that and says, that he even, like as I say earlier, he even quoted their own scholars. So Daniel didn't use his scholars; he used theirs. Now, what I did notice a while ago there, before we skipped to the live, is Dean hopped off not long. Let me see. Yeah, Dean hopped off about the 2 hour 30 something mark. So he was on with them for like another hour, but I don't think that would have went very well. But anyway, I'm not gonna keep pausing this. I'm just gonna hit mute because it means we'll have to catch up to the live every time. But Jack's looking heated right now, so let's see what he's saying.
Now, you did not question him about his intentions, and yet you declared it to be an act of kufr based upon the apparent in and of itself. So you're not consistent. Either that or you've changed your position. To me, it seems like, Dan, it's not like you're contradicting yourself. I truly believe that you held a different position regarding ibadah and shirk back then, and now you've changed your position because what you're saying now is not consistent with you declaring that an act of kufr at that time.
When I called it an act of kufr, it is a ritual. It's like a pagan ritualistic practice that is practiced in other religions. Like if you see a Christian, practicing a water ritual or like a baptism, or you see a Hindu practicing a water
Does he not know
ritual,
what
like
baptism is?
bathing in the Ganges River. Okay, you can say that this is an act of kufr. This is an act
without
of,
asking their intention.
yeah, because this is a kafir who's
Okay.
practicing. This is a mushrik.
No, but
Okay,
I'm
who's
asking a
practicing
Muslim.
that. So
Omar
Omar
Suleiman,
Suleiman participated in a shirk action. In a
but
shirk
Omar
action.
Suleiman
Now,
is
did he
Omar
commit
Sule-
kufr? Did he commit kufr? It depends on his intention. It depends on
Okay,
his
but
intention.
you
But the
said
action, the water ritual. Listen, let me finish my sentence, bro. You're asking me. I'm patiently waiting for my turn to talk, and then as soon as I talk, you interrupt me. So the action that he is engaged in, that is a pagan ritual. It's a water pouring ritual that he was surrounded with Christians and Jews and literally a Hindu. I don't know if they call them priests. Okay. They were
Christians,
engaging
okay.
in a pagan ritual. That is a ritual of kufr and shirk. And he was a part of that ritual. So when I say he committed an act of shirk, engaging in a pagan ritual, that is true. That is true. Now, if I want to say that he himself, okay, he has committed an act of shirk and therefore he needs to like renew his shahada, or he needs to like, obviously he repented from that. But
bro, if I had to take a shot
that does depend on
every
the
time
intention.
I've heard the
I'm
phrase
completely
kufr
consistent
and
on that.
shirk within
And
the
go
last
watch
2
the
Oh
minutes,
video.
my
Go watch the
goodness.
video on my
No.
channel. He
Don't do
participated
that.
very
I mean,
clearly. He
drunkenness is not okay
participated
around
in
these
pagan
parts.
ritual.
Don't do
Is
that.
a pagan ritual kufr? Is a pagan ritual shirk? Like if someone goes and prostrates in a
I'm pretty sure if you had to take a sip every time that happened, like you'd still
your Hindu
bad.
sage, that is an
bro.
act of
I
shirk.
don't think
That is an
Bible
act
law
of shirk, and it
license
doesn't
could even
matter the
supply me.
intention because that's the religious practice. If someone goes and kisses the cross in a ritual of kissing the cross and taking communion, eating the doing the Eucharist ritual, that is an act of shirk. Okay, if a Muslim does that, okay, they have committed an
he's
act of shirk.
called
They have taken
baptism
communion.
of pagan
They have
practice.
They have participated in the Eucharist. They have committed an act
I
of
mean,
shirk.
from their
Now,
worldview,
if you want to say that
obviously,
they
but
have committed kufr, knowingly committed kufr, then yes, the intentions matter. Yes, their understanding matters. Do you see the distinction?
So, Dan, so what's the difference?
sorry,
So tell me,
I got
what's the
distracted
difference
there.
between the act being kufr and them committing kufr?
The act is the description of the act, because there are certain acts that are specific to religions, like Christianity,
This is
or
bang on, by the
Judaism,
way.
or animism, or
Paganism. I'm just
Zoroastrianism.
saying from their
There are
worldview,
specific
they're
acts, and
gonna
those
think
are
that,
acts
but
of
you're
kufr
correct.
and shirk.
So in
And then there are certain acts that a person can take, like when a Muslim, okay, this is the problem. When you're applying the categories of shirk to Muslims, when you say that, oh, he is practicing istighatha, or he's practicing like a practice to the calling to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or to the awliya, okay, that is a Muslim who is doing that. So the intentions matter, because if we go to the scenario, don't avoid this contradiction.
Let me just mute him for a second, because they're probably just going to repeat the phrase kufr and shirk 300 more times. But it's interesting now that obviously they're bringing in the Eucharist and things like that. Do you ever notice that these guys can never have a debate with each other? This is now, like, obviously it's moved into more of a one-on-one, but I would say this is actually a debate now between these two. Do you ever notice these guys can never not bring up Christianity? That is how obsessed they are with their religion. So, LA still here. I thought he was saying he had to go there, but he's just speaking to someone. I do have to go very shortly, because I'm going to be up quite early. Well, technically, I'll be up in a matter of hours. Oh, good job. I have this muted. We currently have an ad.
Oh, did they end the stream?
No,
it's still going.
Yeah, it's just an ad. Yeah. I'm not using my personal YouTube at the moment, mainly because I obviously don't hide myself. Like, my face is very public and my information's not exactly hidden. But the very few videos I've done already on Islam have triggered enough of Muslims to make threats, to the point where I'm like, yeah, okay, you're not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. You're just encouraging me to do more. So thank you. Mm-hmm. But I'm also not going to make it easy for them to get further public info on me. So yeah.
Yeah.
But This is just interesting. Like, as I say, they cannot keep Christianity out of their mouth, even whenever they're discussing like in-house
In-house
debates
debates.
between themselves. Yeah, like it's this is where you know they are obsessed with Christianity. And as I say, I have heard Jake deal with biblical text, and he can get somewhat of it right. Like I would say Jake is one of the guys that at least tries to understand what the text is saying. So, for example, we were saying there a moment ago, I don't know what's going on with Jack at the moment, but he seems to be like distancing himself from a lot of the Dawa guys because he's called a lot of them deceitful, says he knows their private sins, all that sort of thing. So he's distancing himself from a lot of people. So I don't know whether he's cutting ties because he knows something big's about to come out, or whatever's going on. But the one thing I will say though, but is Daniel is good when it comes to his own Islamic theology. Like, you can see he very confidently dog walk both of those guys.
Mhm.
However, Daniel sucks, and I mean sucks, when it comes to handling the Bible. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know whether it's intentional or not. Oh, we just lost Romans 8.
Oh man, they
Well,
send a private message or something.
well,
Nah, it
there's a
doesn't look
private
like
chat
it.
through here, so.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
that was
there.
you.
So.
Sorry. I never check private
Oh,
messages, so
looks like he's coming back.
he is
Maybe.
back. He is back.
Sweet.
I'm not going to be on for too much longer anyway, gents. I will try and do a live stream again. Um, maybe breaking down some of this without my constant pausing. But this is what live streams are for. Like, the audience can chat amongst themselves and we can chat as well. But when it comes to the Bible with Daniel, I always want to kind of be charitable to people. Like, I don't want to automatically assume they're being deceitful. But
Mhm.
sometimes people's consistent action shows you whether they're being deceitful or not. And Daniel has repeatedly shown that when it comes to the biblical text, he will mangle it to make it say whatever he wants it to say in order to defend his prophet. So whenever he tries to defend his prophet from Aisha's edge, Daniel will mangle the biblical text to try and say that Rebecca is three. Jack at least had the intellectual honesty to say that scripture does not name Rebecca's age, and it certainly doesn't point out that she was a child.
Yeah.
So, like,
I mean, but to some degree, they all are doing that.
mhm.
Like, I'll put it like this: I don't think any of them. Like, maybe if it was something where where it was like they just became Muslim and they were like pointing out the arguments and they were just echoing other talking points, I could get it. But when you've had these guys who have been up there
Yeah.
debating, like Daniel Hakikachu, he's got many years of this under his belt. He's
Mhm.
built an entire institution around it. He's not a random guy who doesn't know about things. He's had time, energy, and he's been forced in many situations during his debates and stuff
Mhm.
to realize and recognize the actual context within the scriptures, right?
Yep.
Like, so he's not just Googling and then picking out the arguments. He's the one making the arguments that are getting Googled and picked out.
Yeah.
So with guys like him, I do think we can say, especially on the topic of the Bible and Christianity, yeah, they're deceptive.
Yeah. This is why I always point out I don't hate Muslims. I hate Dawa and I hate Da'i.
Mhm.
Because those guys know they are lying. Like, take Junior, for example. Junior is a laughing stock. Because you've got people like David Wood and stuff, like, laughing, talking about, how Junior is the face of Islam. There's a reason why they want Junior to be the face of Islam. It's because of how bad Junior is. Like,
Mhm.
Junior was on a stream not so long ago with I think it was Nick from Fearless Truth. And dude, I mean, like, again, if you need to look up a source, fine. I genuinely don't care. Just be honest that, hey, look, I don't have this information at the top of my head right now. Do you mind if I Google something or whatever? I would look at that and go, sure, go for it. But you've got Junior, who was very clearly, like, he kept asking Nick to rephrase things to buy time, so we could audibly hear him typing on his keyboard. And he was either entering it into Google or ChatGPT, and then he was like, you could see him reading line by line, and you could hear the AI phraseology, because AI is good. Like if you use AI, you can clearly tell that there's phraseology that's not human. It's very unnatural.
Structured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unnatural. Like AI loves binaries, so it loves phrases like "that's not." Uh, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head, but it'd say something like that. That's not logical. That's the pinnacle of logic. It does these neat little binaries that humans don't really speak in. Like our thoughts are more dragged out. We tend to reason our way towards a point rather than neat little bundle slogans. So Junior was reading this stuff out in stream during the debate, and he was called out on it time and time again, even in his debate with Ridvan, like a public debate. Ridvan pointed out, like he was using ChatGPT on his phone, and he wasn't even hiding it. Like this is where you're dealing with people that are not intellectually honest. So
Yeah. I mean, if he
um,
just said that he used it, then I don't think there would have been a problem there.
yeah,
But like, because then you could have just been like, well, ChatGPT made a mistake.
yeah.
What's wrong with using AI?
So yeah, Faith
Oh,
Hope and I says, "What's wrong with AI if the information is valid?" So Faith, I'm not against AI in that sense. I just don't like whenever people use AI and they're
pretend like they didn't.
yeah they're not honest about
Just
it.
intellectually dishonest.
Yeah. So in Junior's case, he was using AI in debates, but pretending like he wasn't using AI, like that's deceitful to me. But the other thing too is AI can be wrong, and in a lot of cases it is wrong. AI
Yeah.
will sometimes confidently assert that something is factual, and then you can give it another prompt and put it in and say something like, "Are you sure this information is valid?" or whatever, and then AI will contradict itself. So the thing is, to your AI, whether you use Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, or whatever, if it knows you are a Christian, it will try to give you a Christian response. If a Muslim asks it the same question, it'll give them an Islamic response. If a Hindu asks them, it'll give more of a response that would be palatable to a Hindu. So it's not necessarily
Oh,
that you can't. Yeah,
sorry for interrupting. Yeah. Good. Sorry.
yeah, it's all right. It's not necessarily that AI itself is bad. It's a tool like anything else. If you use it appropriately, fine. But what I would say is do not use AI for debates, because it will very confidently tell you that something is correct when it's not. And also,
Yeah.
just if you are using it, like if Junior said, "Hey, look, I'm using ChatGPT here because I don't have this information at the top of my head," Nick probably would have said something along the lines of, "Well, I wouldn't rely on ChatGPT or whatever," but he wouldn't have clowned him for using ChatGPT. He just wanted him to be honest that he was using ChatGPT.
And if we're being honest, if you use Google, you're just most of the time anymore, you're just reading the AI summary at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it sounds like it's a little bit too good to be true, you got to make sure you check those sources, because I've had times where it's like, oh yeah, it says this thing, and I go and I'm like, let me double check that. Where'd you get that? And I click the website, and it's just pulling something out of thin air, and I'm like, I don't know where it got that information from this website, because this website does not say that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. And then the big thing, like, I've been doing a lot of research into AI lately.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll see why, Mr. Lehman. I'll show you. Don't worry.
I already know.
Oh, okay.
So,
But
He is building a butler for me, a robotic butler.
oh yes. I'm
Excited.
building
To
robotic
regulate my
butler.
ADHD.
He's gonna fold your clothes. He's gonna organize the dresser. He's gonna cook your breakfast for you. All in all,
I don't think we'll get to that stage just yet, lads. But great channel with compilations of Dawa Fails, Dose of Truth 365. Awesome. Go subscribe to the channel, folks. Even give Junior his own video along with being part of the monthly list. Yeah, look, folks. I recommend following Junior on X purely just for the laugh you will get. It is quite funny. Houston also says the AI info is often not valid. That's why there's the term AI hallucinations. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is true. If you use AI enough, you can get AI to pretty much say not only whatever you want, but it will sometimes confidently assert something as fact. And then, as I say, you can put in a couple of prompts just to show you that it is. Sometimes it will even contradict itself, like, oh no, that information's not valid or whatever. AI will often say what you want it to say. So Faith, Hope, and I says, let's test that theory. I'll give us a statement to input and let's see what we get. Faith, you can do that if you want, but if you're on X, all you have to do is go on and see how different people are using ChatGPT and Grok on X. You've got Christians posting things like, hey, Grok, remove the false prophet from this image, and say it's a picture of John the Baptist and Muhammad. If that prompt comes from a Christian account, guess who Grok removes from the image? It removes Muhammad. Now, if you reverse that and it's a Bible and a Quran, and a Muslim says, "Hey, Grok, remove the corrupted scripture," guess which book that Grok removes? Why? Because it's based on who's asking the question. Like, it's very easy to see those types of things.
Another ad.
Yep. Well, I need to hit play again in a minute just to see where they're at. But if they're still talking about Shirk, I'm going to wrap the stream up. Zach says I have legit. Okay, nearly threw that away. I legit have my chat GBT limited to ignore certain sources, so I can quick reference. It's moldable, which it makes it unreliable in totality. Yeah, that's the thing. AI is a good tool. I think you can use it in research and things like that, like to help, gather things. But 100% go and check your information, because here's a great example. And this is not just a plug for my book club, but like this book, The Apostolic Fathers. You can ask ChatGPT something like, hey, give me an Apostolic Father quote on whatever. It will give you a quote. Oh, there we go. Houston's even said it. ChatGPT is notorious for fake quotes of church fathers. Bingo. That's literally what I was just about to say. It brings up
I
fake
want to
quotes.
add support to that. I have had trouble with ChatGPT, with Grok, generating quotes out of whole cloth. Quotes that I would have found very useful. Come to find out, quote doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Sorry, I cut
And
you off.
not
Oh, no,
only
I
that,
was just
but
on.
like it seems almost like these have been trained off of a bazillion documents. Why can I not? Why I don't understand why AI cannot generate quotes accurately, consistently, and
Well,
it will literally
It's
say
because it's
searching the
giving you
web.
what you want.
Right.
no.
Well, it'll say searching the web. It's like, why are you searching the web? I don't want you to search the web. Go through your database. But it's just, I don't know what the reason is for the way where it seems that Grok. I use Grok more than others, but I use ChatGPT to some extent. It seems to want to just search the internet and then give you a quick, lazy, and very incorrect answer a lot of the time. And I don't know why that is the case, despite being trained off of a bazillion books and documents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just how they're trained. So they don't AI. So simplest way I can think to put it is like super overpowered overkill autocorrect. It takes your statement, each word that you write is assigned a token, and then it puts those tokens and extracts those tokens, and then it based on those tokens, it just automatically and algorithmically provides an output.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like that's why I would actually say the exact opposite from you, Mr. Layman. Almost said your name, Mr. Layman. I wouldn't actually recommend doing research with like
I
I
just
would,
mean research as in, like, you can get AI to accurately collate data for you. So like I could say to AI, hey, look, give me a list of books that talk about whatever. It will accurately give me a list of books that talk about it. So
okay.
like it'll summarize for me, but I don't mean research as in like trust it to do actual research for you.
Yeah, because
It's bias. It won't give you good research.
yeah, yeah. It's not even just about like the bias there. Because it doesn't. So it doesn't store the text when they scan in or upload a PDF or a PNG or when they're training it on literal raw text files, it's not saving those as quotes. It's saving each word as a token. And then those words are associated with other words, which are associated with other words, which are associated with categories, and so on and so forth. And it basically just compiles a response based on your input. So it's like in the work, like the worst results would be like when it is the most confident then too, because then it's just quickly going through the process too. So it was just, I wouldn't use it for that. I would say if you're like if you're inputting data and wanting something out of it, that's going to be a better solution. All in all, I would not recommend using it for like a deep dive research or like verifying a fact. Like if you're like, oh, is this thing do this? Like it might like I think everyone remembers when AI was telling people to put rocks on their pizza or to take eat rock a day. Remember Google when they first put out their AI on the Google search? You're like, like something about stone pizza stuff. I don't remember. I think it was for like the cooker, and it's like, yes, you should have a rock on your pizza every day when you're eating. And it's just like,
I have never heard of this in my life.
Oh yeah, the search results were insane from Google's AI results thing. Even better though,
if you're a Goron from Zelda, that might be delicious pizza. To be fair,
Yeah, but another thing is like you can, and I don't know if they maybe fixed it because they might have fixed it, but you used to be able to. When Grok was first coming out, I would do these photos where I would be like, make me a fisherman, and it would automatically grab my profile picture, which was funny enough, it was a fisherman, but I would maybe say like make the fish bigger or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it would, but then I would get a giant anime fish instead of just making the fish bigger. It wasn't the greatest at the time. But what it would also do is when I would go, is this photo AI generated? It just created that image. It should know that image is AI generated. It just says, nope. It's like, what do you mean, no? You just made this thing. You should know. You have like the entire thing that makes you better than other text bots is that you have contextual awareness.
Yeah.
Like you should know that you just generated this same photo for me. Same hash, same color schemes, same pixel density, same every other detail possible, even if you're not analyzing the actual individual pixels itself.
Yep.
But no, it was, and that's why I would say just use it as a tool if you want, but don't sit there relying on it like as if it's an actual resource that's going to pull
things. Certainly not in debate. You will embarrass yourself, trust me.
Yeah.
Faith, Hope, and I, what are the earliest historical sources for Abraham, and how do they describe his beliefs in worship? Scripture. Scripture is a historical book. Go to the Bible. Do any sources prior to the 7th century support the Quranic description of Abraham's religion? No, they do not, because it's a later invention. Elias, why does Christian gods care more about people's race than actual faith? What kind of, and I'll not repeat that phrase on YouTube, religion is that? Disgusting. Repent and embrace Islam until it's too late. So you want
That's
me to...
ridiculous.
Wait.
No.
But before you say anything, he wants me to embrace Islam until it's too late? Right, so you want me to embrace Islam so that I'll perish? Good. Well, at least you're honest. At least you admit that Islam sends people to hell. Second of all, just before Romans 8, you say anything, my friend, could you explain what type of racist thing that this is? Just bear with me because I'm very interested to know what type of racism you're referring to. Let's go ahead and share the screen, shall we? And
did you want to say something, Mr.? Oh, wait, you're showing that, and then
yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll all go ahead and embrace Islam until it's too late. But could you just explain why Allah's messenger said you should listen to and obey your ruler, even if he was an Ethiopian, meaning a black slave, whose head looks like a raisin. Wow, that's not very nice. That's not very nice. What kind of religion's that? That's disgusting. Do you condemn your prophet? Do you condemn him for his racism? Interesting. Also, is it not Muslims that tell people that that Arab culture is superior? And how do they tell people Arab culture is superior? Well, because if you, as a Westerner, convert to Islam, or as they say, revert,
I'll be
you
right
have to. Yep, no worries, Gabe. You have to take upon an Arab name. Why? Because non-Arabs aren't as good as Arabs. So do you condemn your prophet? Do you condemn him for his blatant racism, calling Ethiopian men with heads like raisins? Disgusting. Maybe you should repent and embrace Christ. Maybe that's what you should do. Romans 8, what were you going to say just before I go on to some of these comments?
Did raisins exist in Muhammad's time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's silly. That's silly. Literally, just Acts chapter 2, where you have Cretans and Mesopotamians and Arabs and Illyrians and Greeks and everybody, across the known world showing up to go on a crusade to preach the gospel. They all
Yeah.
show up
He's
from
he's,
the
he's just
nation.
repeating a talking point that some Dai guys probably told him, but they
Yeah.
probably haven't told him about Sahih al Bukhari, where his prophet calls people raisin heads. So
That seems pretty funny, to be honest. It's like,
But you also like you don't forget the very and I might have missed you saying this while I was running and grabbing my food. But don't forget the words of our Lord. Our Lord said, go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." That is all nations. That means all people groups. There's no limiter there.
But Gabe, Jesus only came to lost house of Israel. He only
For God so loved the world.
no lost
That
house
he
of
said.
Israel, Gabe. Come on, this is what my Dawa guys told me. Only lost house of Israel.
Oh my goodness.
All
it's
those
very
other
clear.
verses corrupt.
Jesus was going to the Jews in Judea first, primarily to collect the elect. But that was always going, and it wasn't they never preached to non-Jews. They absolutely did. There was an order of events, and when you actually look at the history of the spread of Christianity, like Paul says, to the Greek, to the Jew first, then to the Greek. Why did he say that? Because quite literally, it was the Jewish diaspora that spread the Christian gospel around the Mediterranean. For centuries, until at least the 400s, there was a Jewish contingent in the church. Eventually, it did die out. Cyrenaica was a hot spot, for example. Were it not for these Jews, especially in the diaspora, but to a lesser extent Judea, the gospel would not have spread as fast as it did. It would have been far more difficult. They had the Old Testament scriptures. They built upon that.
Yeah, we all know this is just again this is another talking point that Muslims have been given from the Dawa guys. It's just ridiculous. Like if you read the scripture in context, yes, Jesus during his earthly ministry was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, but then he commands his disciples to go and make disciples of all nations. There's no contradiction there. So, again, whenever people make that argument, they just show themselves to be a little bit slow. Houston says, I once got ChatGPT to tell me that someone can reach the speed of light by jumping off a 3,000-foot high bridge and reach 2 times speed of light if the bridge is 6,000 feet high.
Wow. Dude, that's like at that point, if I'm going 2 times the speed of light, do I just like enter some sort of phase state where I'm, going through the planet even faster and faster? Exactly.
I don't know if it's accurate. It's probably trying to be accurate. Have you guys heard of a universe sandbox?
Is the game? No, I'm thinking of like World Sandbox, the game. I don't know about Universe Sandbox.
I've heard
take objects and then like hit the Earth with it at the speed of light. Like someone, there's a picture of someone shot like Brazil with with a whale at the speed of light. It just like annihilated almost all of Latin America. That's how insane the force multiplier is for a speed of light.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you this is not advice for anyone, but if you listen to ChatGPT, all you need is a 3,000-foot high bridge.
Yeah, not like we totally
what I-
don't drop things from way higher up and they don't go that fast.
This is what I say. Take what you hear from AI with a pinch of salt. If anyone relies completely on AI to give them information, you're going to be severely embarrassed if you ever debate it. Zach says, I've tested that by asking it to tell me what R.C. Sproul Sr. thinks about the state of Christianity in 2025, and it quoted him. He died in 2017. Yeah, it generates fake quotes. This is the issue. Da, 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 da. Ask it my question and shares what it says just for experiment. We can do that in another stream, but it's not really going to matter right now because if I ask it anything to do with Christianity, it's just going to give me a Christian answer. So, can you clowns? There's only one clown, and that's the person that says embrace Islam until it's too late. But then again, you did learn from your illiterate prophet that likes to tell people they've got a raisin head. Is it too much to ask from people who still can't figure out how many gods they worship? Is it too late for you to work out that you don't actually understand the Trinity and you're just repeating arguments from your Dawa clowns? Is it too late for that? Or are you just going to continue to embrace Islam until it's too late? My goodness.
And we got Mr. Orthodox
Just
Philip
straight
in the
in with
chat.
it.
Howdy, man.
Who's in the chat?
Orthodox Philip.
Good to see you, brother. I'll get to your comment now in a second. You guys are the clowns who keep forgetting the same answer you get each time you ask the same question. As I say, it does not matter to them because all they have been taught over and over is ask them how many gods they believe. Ask them. Ask them.
Yep.
Oh, that's to Orthodox Philip. Zach has apparently sent us air. Thank you for the air, Zach. Crusader culture, good to see you, brother. I understand Dr. D is debating Jack on the 31st, correct? That is. No, it's the 30th. It's Al-Sut Day, so just the day before Al-Sut Day. So make sure you celebrate that, folks. Is debating Jack on the 31st. It should be a really good debate, yet Jack can be a slippery sucker. Yes, he can. But it's on the Islamic dilemma, isn't it?
I have no clue. I haven't been able to keep up with them on
I'm
this.
fairly sure it is because Jack's got 3 debates coming up this year with like some of those guys, and all 3 of them I think are on the Islamic dilemma. All I'm going to say to him is good luck because like David Wood on the Islamic dilemma, you ain't getting round it.
And the Alzut. But not like in an Alzut way, of course.
Yeah. Zach says I timed him out. Okay.
That works.
I don't think the raisin head comment is particularly a big deal, to be honest. It seems kind of funny. It's like very silly comment.
So at least Elias here has been honest. He's okay with his prophet's racism. What's wrong with that? Hadith literally commands to obey the person regardless of how a person looks. Where is racism? Well, if there was no racism involved, why did your prophet feel the need to say, even if his head looks like a raisin? Why, Elias? Why? There's no racism in Islam, is there?
Notice he's not even addressing the other like 6 points you made. Which, you put the first one there. He went after the first one. Maybe he'll go after another thing.
There's a lot more things that I could pull out about racism in Islam. Don't even get me started on what Islam says about women, that they're half-brained and the majority of hellfire is made up of women. But Islam respects women, respects them.
Isn't there Islamic references to Muhammad being like very white, like white skinned, or no?
So yes, there is tafsirs where it is there is almost an obsession with white being pure, and it talks about, almost in like a fantasizing way about Muhammad thinking about, white men and white women, and there's a lot of funky stuff.
That seems really peculiar. That seems really peculiar because Muhammad is supposed to be from Arabia, so you'd think he'd be darker in skin. It seems odd, like out of place.
It's almost like the Hadith and the Tafsirs and the Quran's nothing but a pile of contradictory mess. So our friend Elias also says culture is not race, and yes, Arab culture is superior. Culture is not tied to skin color. So cultures are superior. So what you're saying is that this is a message for all mankind, but only if they're Arab. So they have to have an Arab name. They have to dress like Arabs. They can only read the Quran in Arabic. Wow, that sounds like a real message for mankind, lads.
Yeah, well, at least you did address your other point.
Mm-hmm.
Give him credit there.
I wouldn't, but okay. The Hadith is about
not the same type of point as the Menavos, of course.
No, definitely not. The Hadith is about obeying regardless of how distasteful it would be to obey them. Yes, and that's the reason why Muhammad made reference to the fact that he has a head like a raisin. All made another account. All more than likely. Right, let's see where this argument goes. This will be ridiculous. Bible is the only book that forbids interracial marriages and says that a particular race gives you access to heaven, while being born of a wrong race condemns you to hell. Okay, show me the source.
Yeah, what
show
verse?
Me, show me the source. Show me the verse. Show me the chapter where it says that if you're born of the wrong race, you go to hell. If you can't do it, you're getting booted. And you can make another 12 accounts, and we'll boot you with your other 12 accounts. Because there's one thing about you guys is it doesn't matter how many times guys dominate you, you seem to like it like your prophet liked it.
That one was a bit far, but yeah.
I'm not too worried about that. I have trouble getting ChatGPT to give the bridge answer because it tried to insist the weight matters because heavier objects fall faster.
So how fast would you have to be? How? Wait.
Houston, ask it. What about if a whale jumped off a bridge?
Wait, that wouldn't even. Okay. No.
It would have to be a very depressed ophoneme.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you jump off a bridge, wow, that's gonna get clipped. If you jump off a bridge, there is a limit to how fast you actually fall. You reach terminal velocity. So even if the bridge was 3,000 feet tall, even if you were a whale, you're not going with the speed of light, man.
No. ChatGPT told us if it's
right. You know what?
High.
Who am I to go up against the super advanced autocorrect? Who am I?
Okay, show us where my Lord says never to go to the house of Gentiles. Show me. Do you know what I do love about Muslims that repeat really bad arguments, and I mean really bad arguments? They just keep spamming them in the comments. Like if that was any other like religion or culture, they would be embarrassed by how much of a fool they are making of themselves. But somehow
I think it's like effective because it doesn't seem very effective.
See, this is the thing. Only a Muslim could walk away thinking, "Oh yeah, we're winning here." Anyone else, even atheists, like one of my friends is an atheist, and he was going through one of my videos there the other day, and he was looking at the comments, and he was like, "How do these guys think they're making points? Like half of it's just ad hom, and the other half is like, haha, how many gods do you believe in?" It's like still waiting on a source. Orthodox Philip, I finally got to you, brother. Good to see you. Orthodox Philip, I am trying my best, bro, to try and get you someone to take up this debate. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of people looking to debate it right now. So,
I've even reached out to some guys, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't." veneration the same
Veneration and
as
worship,
worship.
truly distinguishable.
I know other Paul would theoretically do that, but I think he is super busy now. I know he's had debates about that before.
I've already spoke to Paul. Paul recognizes that there is a category in which it is the same. He doesn't say that it's completely the same, but he says he does recognize that there is a category there. You guys lie about the Bible so gullibly. Since you give no scripture reference, we'll assume you're just lying again. Yeah, that's all they've got. And without lies, Islam dies. On Livian, pretty sure that's the Book of Mormon. My friend, please forgive me if I butcher your name, but Fi Takas, is that what would you guys say?
Yeah, with tacos.
I'm dyslexic, my friend, a little bit. So not majorly dyslexic, but I struggle sometimes with reading. So forgive me. You're refreshing, layman, light and quick in your responses, and yet shed light and tasteful sarcasm. Looking forward to more of your content. Thank you, my friend. Some people think I can be a little bit harsh at times, and perhaps, but I will match energy. If someone is respectful, I come respectful. If someone is distasteful towards my lord, yeah, they'll get it on the back. So thank you. And Livian says I joke because of how it explains we get black people. Yeah, Mormon theology and black people. The history's not great there either, to be fair. But it really is like if anybody has never done the comparison of how Mormonism came to be versus how Islam came to be, you should really look that up. And it's not just as simple as an angel appeared to both of them. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of coincidences, and Joseph Smith had some scarily similar revelations that the Prophet Muhammad supposedly had. So,
but you see, that actually shows.
It's funny that we have like these sort of scam. I think Mormonism is a scam religion. I think that there is.
Smith was a known con man, like it's in his history.
Right. I think it's an artificial. I think it's like Scientology, and I think Islam more defensible to not be the case like that. But I do think there's a case to be made that Islam may be at least partially artificial to support the Umayyad Empire. That being said, like I just find these ridiculous like stories in fake religions, right? Like Yaqub like made white people in a laboratory and Nation of Islam, which is like the Mormonism of Islam. It's that's kind of like what Mormonism does.
Yeah. Well, whenever it comes to Islam, and I need to wrap up here, boys, because it's nearly 5:30 my time, so I'm getting no sleep tonight. But anyway, I really enjoyed this stream, and thank you for all the people commenting. We will be back with more content soon. But what I was going to say is, when it comes to Islam, what I would say, what's up, Gabe?
I was saying because it looks like Mr. Shaman has left us.
I'm sure he'll maybe come back. He maybe thought I was wrapping up, but what I would say whenever it comes to Islam is
stay away from Islam.
Well, stay away from Islam, but it wasn't set up in the same way that Smith was. Like Smith was 100% a con man. I believe that Muhammad genuinely thought that he was a prophet, but he did not realize that what he had an encounter with was not an angel of the Lord. Let's say that much. From what we get then out of Islam, it goes in various different directions. But yeah, so Valerie Price, good to see you. Christian Orthodox is the original church. We still have the original bishopric from the 7 churches in Revelation, even though the cities are gone. Well, welcome, Valerie. Good to see you. We have those type of debates here, although we'll be having them less and less because my focus is going to be more on Islam and Mormonism. I'm not really interested in Christians debating each other, but yeah, don't worry, Valerie, I got you. I'm a little bit dyslexic, so sometimes I read mistakes out that aren't even there, and then other times when there are mistakes, I tend to gloss over them, so don't worry. It says, nice stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And also, I'm just going to call you Fee. Please forgive me, but thank you again for that lovely compliment. I'm highlighting that one for a reason because I normally get a lot of abuse on this channel, so thank you for that. But anyway, folks, I am going to go ahead and hop off. But before I do, Gabe, thank you for joining me, my friend. Me and
Of
you are going to do
course.
a lot more of these streams. We'll be reacting to stuff.
Yep.
We'll also be presenting our website.
Yes.
Probably
How's
not
it?
anytime soon, but
Yeah, I've been very busy. Haven't been able to sit down and really work on it, and
yeah.
still even trying to like work out really what we want to do with it too. Still, so
Well, that's what I was going to say. Even then, like, even if you weren't busy, even if we had it up and running right now, we would still need content to put on it. So, like, it's not going to be
yeah,
coming anytime soon. So, Valerie says, I'll subscribe and like. Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate
cool
it.
beans.
You're more than welcome here. But yeah, we have got a lot of content coming up this year, and I know people say that a lot, but like we genuinely do. But we're not going to try and rush content out there. We want it to be decent content. We want it to be enjoyable to watch. So we're upgrading a lot of equipment and stuff. If you do want to support in any way, there's a little QR code down here at the bottom. It's just a way you can give one time, or you can be a monthly member, whatever suits you. But we plan to put out a lot more content in the future. You can find me over on X at the Layman Apologist. You can find me on Substack. That is where the majority of my work actually goes. And I'm currently writing another book that will still probably be a long time coming out, but it's kind of why I'm distracted at the moment from YouTube. But this will be the year where I focus more on YouTube. And Gabe, you already know about this, but we plan to have a guy called Fax, the apologist, coming on very soon.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
he also deals with cults, Islam, Mormonism, and he's very, very good. So looking forward to having him on. But Gabe, what about you? You've got a few things to plug.
Oh my goodness gracious! I've got so much to plug. Wow, so much things to work on. Really, it's not really ready to have everything plugged, but TrinityBible.app. It's the current main website is down, but that's for a strategic purpose. But it's almost done. Should be done in all reality within the week.
Yeah, and it's not just a regular Bible app. Like, it's not just the Bible on there. Like, you're planning to have commentaries, church father quotes, like all that type of stuff. So
yeah, right now, because I am working on Trinity Library. That's another topic. That's another project I'm working on. Which Trinity Library is going to be a digital library that curates a whole bunch of the early church writings. Basically, anything I can get that's public domain translation, and I can put it out there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be everything from early church fathers to, what the council writings to even our more modern sources. As long as it's something I can legally put on there, I'll be putting it on there.
Yep.
And then I plan on having them linked up so that you'll be able to actually use one or the other no matter where you're at. But for right now, it's mostly fixated on the scriptures. There is an audio Bible on it. There is a lot of much more advanced search features. I've been refining that search, so it is super. The old search was bad. The old search, you could literally type in "For God so loved the world," and it would not give you John 3:16. And it's like, hold up, that is like the most commonly known verse, and yet it's not. Why? And it was something with the database I was using, and
that
I just
show you, Gabe, the Muslims are right. That it's clearly corrupted.
Oh, must be, yeah. But I moved over to some new technology, and I've been learning a lot of things while doing this. So it's still a work in progress, but the big beta version 2.0 should be out by the end of the week.
Nice.
TrinityApologetics.com. That's where you can find some of my blog posts. I haven't posted in a while, been super busy on all my other projects and really trying to fill in any sort of niche I can, but I'll be posting any updates on there. So if you're interested in that.
Yep.
Otherwise, I have plans to have a YouTube channel coming up here in the future, hopefully by the end of this month. I want to have, was supposed to be at the beginning of this month, but I'll be honest with you guys. Trinity Bible has been a lot more work trying to get it to work than, because at first it was curating all the data, restructuring everything, rebuilding basically the entire back end. And then it went to rebuilding the entire back end like 3 times over again because I couldn't find a way that was ended up filling out all my needs and while being easy to work on, because it needs to be something I can work on continually to make sure it's getting done consistently and updated.
This is the thing. I know you've got a obviously your ex and stuff as well,
Yep.
but this is what Gabe and I. There are others that are on this channel as well. Other co-hosts, like Zach was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here. Like, he'll be on stream again too. He's just been really busy. We have on Livian, who's in the house. I don't know if he's still in the
Yeah.
chat or not, but
Who's in Twitch chat?
we do, and we've got a lot of other people that are looking to become involved, which is why, yeah, there he is with these little dancing snakes. So we've got a lot of people involved with this channel. Gabe's gonna have his own channel, but like we're still gonna cross stream on certain topics, and
Yeah.
you know, we'll ultimately be doing different work within the same wheelhouse, but a lot of our work will be combined. But we are our own entities. Like, we have different missions. Like Gabe, you can give yours. Like, but mine is honestly, I want to see the name of Christ lifted high, and I also want to show people that if you are a layman in the pew, that you are also an apologist, and you can be a good apologist. You don't need to have a degree. Now, let me clarify that. If you don't have a degree in theology, don't go and apply to become, you know, a theologian in uh, a school in America or whatever. Don't try and go on and do debates. If you don't have the knowledge to do debates, just be humble and say, "Look, that's not my wheelhouse." But you are an apologist no matter where you are in your day to day life, whether it's work, whether it's with your family, your friends. You can learn good arguments. You know, whether you work with Muslims or whatever. And again, let me reiterate, I actually love Muslim people. I want them to come to know the Lord. What I don't love is Dawa, the Dawa script, and Da'is. That is deceitful. And my faith teaches me to tear down every stronghold that raises itself against Christ. Right? Sometimes that means being a little bit spicy. That means being a little bit aggressive with some things. Some people look at that and go, okay, that dude's got good humor. Other people look at that and go, oh, that was a bit far. Look, I've got people in my life that hold me accountable for that thing. If one of them messages me and says you went too far, you'll get a public apology from me. But whenever people come at my Lord, expect your prophet to receive the same treatment. I will match your energy. Gabe has a slightly different approach, and you'll see that. Me and Gabe are not carbon copies of each other. Valerie says, so true, so true. Thank you, Valerie. Anyway, Gabe, do you want to wrap up and then we can.
Sure. So, my approach generally has always been to strengthen the faith of my fellow believers because, you know, I see a lot of ministries where their goal is to do outreach, and that's a big thing. But then what tends to happen is a lot of people come into Christianity, whether that's Orthodoxy, Roman Catholicism, Protestantism, evangelicalism, any of the other isms that we have. Whenever they go in, they then kind of just don't know anything about what Christians believe and how to defend their views and their like where no matter where they're coming from, they just don't have any backbone to defend themselves. And I want to help change that. And that's partly why, you know, getting the scriptures in front of people, Trinity Bible, in a modern, easy to use way, audio Bible, that's super important for me, in my opinion. Strengthen them by, if they can't read well, allow them to listen. And then I have a few other technologies, knowing our history, our heritage, where we come from. And, you know, God doesn't just operate as in he just said, oh, yeah, it's just that's how it is. He operates in our day to day life with actual tangible actions from us and other fellow believers. And quite frankly, I want to be part of that. So, and I want to help strengthen the other people who are also part of that so that we can, you know, make a better world and bring more people to Christ in the long run.
Amen. Amen. Gabe, I'm not bringing this back up because we'll be here forever, but you wouldn't believe it, dude. Like, they are still live, still debating the same topic. Like, they are going to be going for a while. Gabe, here's a question for you, my friend.
Well, yeah, I'm a Lutheran.
Yeah. So, He's one of
Yes.
those filthy Lutherans, Orthodox fellow. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Yes, I am a Lutheran that gets lumped up as a Eastern Orthodox fanboy type. You know,
Yeah.
I even got the 3-bar cross and everything. A lot of Orthodox guys get mad at me for wearing it, but
Father, he
It's
says logical.
Christian.
I think this is in reference to logical truths, but says Islam is copy paste Gnostic cult. Yeah, Muhammad was known as the ear. Muhammad picked up quotes from Jews that were mocking him. He picked up quotes from Gnostic heretics. There's a reason why whenever you read the Quran assumes that you know things from the previous scriptures. Why?
Mhm.
Because Muhammad gives you no detail. Allah gives you no detail in the Quran. It assumes you already know who Adam's wife is. Doesn't tell you in the Quran who Adam's wife is. Why? Because when you read the Quran, only the Quran speaks positively of our scriptures. Gabe and I are going to be doing a call-in stream on that very shortly. But
Yep.
anyway, before we're here for too much longer, Gabe, because it's nearly going to be 6 a.m. my time, and I need to try and get some sleep. Even though I am somewhat of a night owl, I did not intend on being on this long. We're nearly 4 hours live. For all you new people that are here, thank you very much for liking, subscribing. Thank you for all the lovely comments. Logical Truths, you are welcome to continue talking in different streams. You will not be banned at all because you're not actually disrespectful, unlike some. So you're welcome here as well. We do invite discourse here, and we will have people up in future shows to talk through topics. But again, bear with Gabe and I as we try and get moved in more to the YouTube scene this year. It'll be a slow start because YouTube is not the main goal for Gabe and I. It's a good place to build an audience and build relationships with other Christians on here, but we do have other platforms that we run and are trying to put effort in. Gabe's building a big database. I am writing, and yeah, we've got a lot of stuff, but stay tuned. We've got a lot of great content coming. Also, folks, for those of you that were in the chat saying that you wanted to be a mod, please remind me of your name. You're maybe not here any longer, but I will add you as a mod in time for the next stream. So don't do it now because the live chat disappears after I end the stream. But go ahead and do it after the video is uploaded. Just leave your name, a comment, and I'll know to make you a mod. Gabe, I'm going to actually close it out now with our intro before we go out. So apologies if this blasts in your ears. Just be aware.
Noted.
Yeah. Layman apologists. Could been the saints. Cooking the coach. Ink still heavy when the page get thin. Truth don't stutter when the noise rush in. Same breath spoke the void to form. Still press kings in the footnotes warned. Cross wasn't drama, it was law enforced. Judgment met mercy, no appeal in court. Blood hit wood, death got voided. Grave tried leverage, miscalculated. Stone rolled back, not for escape. Just proof death failed to seal the case. Crowns corrode, doctrines fray. Truth don't age, it outlasts decay. If it need add-ons, ethics seals. That stress cracks, not hidden depth revealed. Fire don't change, goals intent just shows what was counterfeit. Christ is king.
Truth don't flex,